If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And we have lots of time still until the next season premieres, but we have so much to talk about this week. The last 7 days have been fantastic. And so I thought to myself, who haven't I talked to here at the inn in a very long time? Who could answer some questions about the industry that me, as just a viewer of said material, would like to know more about, and who would geek out with us all, like the freaks do on a What Wednesday. And so, yes, let me welcome Allie and Gus.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Good to be here. Thank you for having us.
I'm so ready for this.
Oh my gosh. Well, we love geeking out with a bunch of freaks. This is like our bread and butter, especially about the industry and the Wheel of Time. So we're so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
It's been, I don't know the last time I had you here. I don't want you to tell me because it's been way too long and then I'm going to feel embarrassed. So, but way too long. So, like, before we dig into the industry side, I want to ask you, or I want to kind of announce a couple things. And I don't know if you two have seen some of these things. So these will be fun, maybe, things that you were like, oh, I didn't know you were doing this. So let's see if I can, you'd think that I would have had these like all queued up. I don't.
No, it's a live show. That's the fun of a live.
That's relatable.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not about that. It's not about that. Yeah. Like forget that. So our first reminder for everyone from a news perspective is, yes, this Saturday. And by the way, if I say Saturday and I mention a time and I'm wrong, but December 14th, Saturday, I believe it's noon Eastern, the What Idol Holiday Extravaganza is going to be live. So
I'm so excited.
That's going to be, are you showing up? Are you coming?
I think so. I got a message recently that I have not yet responded to. So.
Okay. That's acceptable. I understand.
Theoretically, yes. I think I was invited to come. So
Sweet.
That message that I just got today. But yeah, I'm not so terrible. I saw it right before we jumped on, so I have not responded.
It's okay. No shame. I know all about that. I'm always the person like that is the last to respond. Like, it's all of the procrastination, and it just builds up, and all of a sudden I'm responding to 700 things. So
it's a pressure valve sort of thing.
Yeah, I have to be. Yeah, and there's so many apps and things now that I get overwhelmed. And Danny.
Oh yeah.
Danny's messaging me. I'm so sorry. She's watching.
Danny from Wheel Weaves.
Danny from Wheel Weaves is messaging me and said I look hot and smart.
Nice. Did Danny say anything? Did Danny say anything about that? It wasn't me that she's at. That's cool. That's fine.
Well, I'm sure she messaged you as well.
We're just here, Matt. You.
It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine. So yes, the What Idol Holiday Extravaganza is going to be a blast. But I don't know if you also heard this news, and this news is pretty freaking amazing. Yes, at WoTCon this year, Sharon Gillum, the Wheel of Time costume designer, is a special guest. She's going to be awesome. That's going to be freaking great.
We got to go to a screening with like the costumes, like one of those for your consideration screenings out here.
Oh, really?
She was talking on it. She is so nice. Nice.
I mean, and she, like, Landfear. Like, I have to go and I have to talk about Landfear's costumes with Sharon. Like,
that's so exciting.
She'd be thrilled.
How cool.
I need to do this. Now, I need to set up another poll in, 140 of you voted on this. Best Wheel of Time news of last week. Okay, I gotta ask you both. Did you vote on this? Did you go into the polls? Did you vote at all in the chat?
I didn't vote in the chat.
Okay, that's okay. So the options are official Elida announcement. That was today. We're gonna talk about that here shortly. You're right. Amazing. The season 3 teaser trailer. Release date being March 13th. Or Sharon Gillam as the WoTCon guest. If you had to pick one of those as the most exciting news from the last 7 days. I know.
That's difficult. I would say the trailer.
Trailer
because it was first and most unexpected, I think.
Yeah.
But that's a tough.
I know. These polls are very difficult because you have to choose one, and everyone gets always mad about it. But yeah, trailer.
They're all neck and neck.
You know what?
Trailer for me just because it was the first one I heard.
I'm creating a bunch of sock puppet accounts, and I'm going to vote for each one.
I got it. I understand. Yes, totally understand. I'm going to end this poll because I need to ask a question that's going to affect if I'm going to show something tonight or not show something tonight. So it's, should I release the Elaine video tonight or tomorrow? Tonight, like live tonight. Or tomorrow. You're like, the answer. Okay, we're going to let everyone vote on this.
Don't like waiting.
Okay, there we go. That is in the poll. You guys get to vote. There you go. I don't know. It looks like we got 140 votes in the last thing, so you got to vote on this. Now, while we vote, because you all said the trailer, I mean, technically we're going to do this anyways, but because you all said the trailer, that's right, everybody. We're going to watch the trailer again. So enjoy.
I was hoping we would. Okay.
Oh, of course. Here we go.
The world is changing. Who knows how deep the shadow's roots have taken hold here? I have seen 1,000 futures. In every future where I lived, Rand dies, and the only way he lives is if I don't. You cannot afford to fail again.
Oh, gosh. Okay. And by the way, we asked, they want to know spoiler warning tonight. We're going to try to stick in that kind of, I know I saw they have first time, I think I saw, I know we have first time readers. Look, for now, we're not going to dig into the trailer. We'll try to like kind of progressively tell you spoilers in chat. Let's just not do spoilers right now. We're going to do some news, talk about some things, but we don't need to like dig into book spoilers until we do. So we'll kind of be progressive tonight. I don't want new readers to feel like they have to like run away right at this moment. We're going to be talking industry stuff that's not like spoilerish. And so I'll take this show contains spoilers thing down for right now. And, but yeah, like show spoilers. That's a good way to say it, Rosa. Show spoilers tonight. How about that?
Do that.
Definitely.
Show spoilers. For now. We might dig in. So show spoilers. That's a good way to say it. And for our mods, and please be respectful again. I know, people come and they don't really, some don't care, but if we don't have to do spoilers, let's not do them. I have such a hard time, honestly. Like anytime someone's like, you can spoil everything, I just can't do it. Like, I just have a hard time. Like people say, like, just tell me, and I'm like, I struggle. I can't do it.
No.
You only get to read it for the first time once,
and you have to earn it. You have to earn the knowledge.
By the way, Allie, 132 people have voted so far. 93% have chosen tonight. So that feels like
close race.
We're going to end that poll here. And now I need to see how many Elaine and Elaines we have. Elaine or Elaine. There we go. Here we go. Let's see where you're at. And while you vote on that one, I'm going to share some more news. That's right, everybody. Yes, this one was so fun, right? This was awesome, right?
Oh, yeah.
So cool. Like Shora Agdashlu is Elida. They dropped this. Good old He Who Tweets with the Dawn today. He gave some clues. Like, by the way, it's pretty funny if you go back there on Blue Sky. I have like a whole, what do you call that? I don't know. It's like some list. Lanfear. That's right. Whatever. It's cool. On Twitter, they were following some accounts. They followed 7 accounts.
Sure.
And we were all like laughing, like, oh, is it like 7 days, 7 p.m.? None of us focused on 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is when they dropped this news this morning. So, we didn't know it was coming.
They're very cute with that stuff, you know?
Yeah, they're fun. It's fun to get those. It's fun that they're back. They're doing this stuff. So, yeah, exactly, Andrew. Obviously, Matt has a hard time spoiling things. He sat on a Brandon secret for over 10 years. That's right. Know that I can just sit on secrets for a very long time.
For 10 years?
For 10 years.
That's
man.
impressive.
I can't wait until you're done. I mean, let everyone know. Like, if they don't know, Allie, how far along are you in the books?
I am on book 12, which is The Gathering Storm, chapter
19.
Yeah, we'll drop our episode 20 or
Probably
chapter
Friday.
20,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Which
Not Friday.
sometime.
Sunday. Yeah,
Soon.
we have a Christmas party
We
we're
do,
doing.
don't
I'm not doing anything until that party is over. So
With, without spoiling where we are, we're about to start a chapter that begins with somebody comparing women to mules and goats. Is the chapter we're about to read. So
thank you for not spoiling anything. Yes, and do not discuss the 10-year spoiler, those kind of things. Don't. Again, we're staying show only for the moment for spoilers. Kevin's comment, "He comes with the dawn," is in the name. That's right. I like it. So the other announcement here is you still have a few days, everyone. You still have a few days, and this is for charity. Remember, this is for charity. You can get your very own Snacc Order calendar still, the 2025 edition, and I'm going to remind you why. I'm going to remind you all the reasons why you should be getting your own Snacc Order calendar. And first up, reminder, that's right, Jen Iskro doing September.
Wow.
Jen, nicely done. That's well done. And then we have my friend, the Gleeman, Brian, as February. Check that out.
wow.
Yeah.
Well
There
done.
you go.
Well done, Brian. Well done.
Perfect
Well
for
done.
Valentine's Day. Excellent.
Perfect for Valentine's Day. Like, literally, the link is in the description. You just go buy a calendar. Okay, I'll share some more. There's a couple more. There's a couple more here. Let me see if I can, like, download these and get, like, real close-ups here. I know you're all just dying for close-ups.
I need a close up. What can I say?
yeah.
I'm a
Yeah,
simple
yeah.
woman. I need a close up.
Okay. Malkir talks himself. May right there.
Sublime.
Incredible.
That is amazing. Yeah, like the sun is shining where the sun don't shine. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
art.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Memo.
England. How did he find a field that's sunny?
Memo joined in to the fun, and a fun note on this one. Memo actually, painted in the flowers on this one. So, August, Memo, bring Memo to the
Oh.
Nice job, Memo. Nice job, everyone. And last but not least, they asked me to do one, so I was like, totally. And then I was a total slacker, and I think I probably sent mine the latest. But I did come up with one here. So here you go. If you want to own your very own Innkeeper for the month of November, there you are.
Wow.
there's,
very
Very
dapper.
dapper.
By the way, I love Behind Priyanka. See, I was inspired. I needed the inspiration. Beyond
Oh my
Priyanka.
God, did you put Landry behind you?
Yes, there's 5 pictures of Lanfear behind me. There are 5 pictures, but I want to point out though, look beyond Priyanka. There looks to be a person, looks like Lanfear behind Priyanka.
It does.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was like, that is totally dead on. Like, my family had the funniest time when they all like saw these pictures. They were just like, wow, I don't think you have 5 pictures of mom up on the wall like this. And I was like, look, I know. but there it is. Yeah, there's you can't see it back here. Is like the wheel behind us, right? The wheel right behind me
Oh,
is right
yeah.
back there.
Okay.
There's some of Trian's leather-bound books. There's a little Watt symbols peeking out there. So there you go, everybody. If you want, you just need to go. This is really, really simple. Just go to Malkier Talks page. The link's in the description. Go order one right now. Just do it.
Honestly, the talent in this fandom,
Yeah.
the stuff that people are able to come up with. I mean, these are beautiful
It's
shots.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Like they were so fun to like. I did not know Brian was doing it. I was like, damn, Brian, good legs, man, good legs there. Well done. So yes, that was way too much fun. Please go support the Snacc calendar. Grab the link there. You have until Saturday, the 14th at 9 p.m. Eastern. And please note that these orders that you're making may not arrive before January 1st. That's just the way they are. So please go grab some of these. Support the Snacc order calendar. And yeah, there you go. Okay. People have voted. They voted and they want to be heard here. Elaine is taking 63%. Elaine is at 37%. So, I saw some comments out there, and so I had to take my shot at sending and like actually kind of coming up with a video that might convince the stragglers out there, right? So, where are you both at? Elaine or Elaine?
I'm at Elaine.
Elaine.
I took a little time. I'm with the majority here.
So,
Okay.
which frame is it?
It's the one where.
Oh,
she's got
good,
the black,
good point. We should bring people
I would like
back.
to see the frame.
You're
Yes.
right. You're right. I'm
should
jumping
examine
the.
it.
I'm just assuming people understand what this is. Does anybody remember what the timestamp is for this moment? I think it was like closer to the end. Let me. Yes, there we go. I found it. Okay, so this happened during the trailer breakdowns. The question of if this was Elaine or not. And you had, obviously, the color of the hair. You had some people mention, oh, maybe the nose is kind of off, the eyes. But people mentioned, oh, but the eyes are really smoky. They it's makeup. This is makeup. It's makeup. This is really Elaine. Where are you at here, Allie?
Hold on.
Before we...
I'm holding her up. Okay. I'm holding her up.
I think it's her.
Yeah.
She's looking on her phone.
Her eyes are too big.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they
She's got
are.
eyeshadow on.
Well, that's a tough call.
Well, that's why we have Elaine
That's a-
or Elaine.
Or Elaine.
That's why
You know
we have
what?
these.
See, what I'm saying
Her
is,
eyes look too narrow.
what I'm thinking is, why have the still image of her if we don't know who she is? If it's this prominent of a shot.
That is an argument. That is a strong argument that's been made.
Strong argument. Yeah, I think it's her. Just her makeup is different.
Kevin was strongly Elaine for a while.
Elaine.
And that was pretty significant when you think about it. Kevin was Elaine, but Kevin did the work and was really digging into this to try to figure out if what he believed or not. I'm trying to find Kevin. Remind me where your video is at. Send me a link to your video. I'm just scrolling through your feed at this point. And you have posted a lot, man. Oh, there we go.
That's a lot, man.
Is this it? Where is it at? Oh, this is pretty freaking hilarious. I don't know if you've all seen this. I got to share this. Yes, good old Watt series made a website. So it's called It's Elaine, and this is an Elaine challenge. Watch the teaser trailer, make your, of course, vote about it. That's so freaking hilarious. I love those
That's
guys. They're the
incredible.
best.
I should also not be trusted though, because I was Team Hood.
I was team hair. I broke up our marriage essentially, and I was like, I'm going against him. I think it's her though. I'm feeling
Okay.
like it's her.
So
Yeah.
Kevin posted, and now I'm like trying to find it, and I'm struggling. Sorry, Kevin. Send me a note on Blue Sky, direct message if you got it there. But Kevin did his. He posted it. He convinced a lot of people, but there were still people saying, "Well, the nose, that thing, I just can't believe it." So here you go, everybody. Here's and Kevin, thank you very much for finding this image. Look closely, everyone. Lean in, and so I had to find a different shot from the show. So immediately you're gonna focus on the nose. I had to kind of like turn the other picture here, but like yes, here you go. Oh, I probably should put it on the screen for you all. Every once in a while, I'm like, can you see it?
This is very good.
Did that help you at all? Let's try it again.
convinced
Here we go.
Yeah.
That convinced me. This is convincing me.
The face shape, it's.
Yeah, the eyes are the same size.
Yeah.
I think she's just got more of a
Same
face
jaw.
framing look right now.
Yeah.
So it's a little more. She looks different.
I mean, just the nose. I tried to position the nose
Yeah,
as the
the
same, so the
nose.
shadow on the shadow on the like that where that. Yeah.
And
Anyways,
lips,
yeah.
And the lips too.
Yeah, the lips.
Right.
If you the way her lips are, shaped there. So. And the lips and the teeth, right there, just kind
I'm
of.
just amazed that there was such a comparable frame.
Yeah, she's just got different
Oh
contours.
yeah, like that's what you have to do. Look, I don't know if do you ever remember the Michael McElhatton ear thing back in the day?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Does this ring a bell? Does this ring a bell at all? No, Allie, do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, not even a little, but I was smiling along.
Okay, so we're gonna end that poll now that you've seen that, and let me show you. My good friend Kevin sent his. Here we go. And could have sworn Kevin. There we go. Okay. Kevin did a variation also, which is really great. So here, y'all, enjoy this one. Is it going to play or what?
He's thinking about it.
That is weird. 1 second. Why is it not playing?
Because it's live theater. That's what happened.
Oh, there we go.
That's
There we
what
go.
happens when you
There
have
we go.
us.
Yeah.
You get us involved, stuff starts breaking.
Yeah. I want to know how he saw this and
So-
thought it ain't her.
Well, no, this was later. He did some deep, checking himself, like, is he, really not, but yeah, the teeth are the one that he focused on the teeth here, but yeah, there's your variation, everybody. Okay. So now that being said, let's poll the audience once again. Elaine or Elaint? Here we go. Art said it. By the way, I love you, stragglers. You are freaking awesome. Like, I am so obstinate about this stuff. I get it. So while the vote is happening, you don't know what I'm talking about, the Michael McElhatton. So
No, I need to see you.
yeah, I mean, look, I think it's worthwhile because I put time into it. So look, that's the. By the way, my favorite part of what you're about to watch is how serious I took this. Like this is peak. This is peak Innkeeper Hatch. This is peak Innkeeper Hatch. Let's just enjoy.
I'm excited.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. After last night's discussion about Wheel of Time Prime's release of that snippet of the table read for episode 1 and 2, one question still kind of hung out there after our discussions and everything I was reading on Twitter and Reddit. This question of, was Michael McElhatton at the table read? And if so, who was he playing? Now, a lot of fans went out there and found images of Michael McElhatton in other interviews where he's wearing the same bracelet as we see the individual at the table read wearing. Now, that made me lean towards definitely him, and plus it does look somewhat, if not a lot, like him. However, we wanted to make it definitive. So today we went out and found a clip from 2015 interview that he did where his facial position is almost exactly like what we see at the table read. We superimpose that image, and as you can see, as we go back and forth between the two images, you can tell that his ear is in the exact same position, and it looks exactly the same. Not So
Oh
good. that, his nose, his
God.
forehead, and
Oh
even
my
maybe
God.
some of the lines and creases there. If you look at it, it's identical. Even as we do a close-up, it just makes it even that much more real. You can just see his face and the hand over his chin. You can just imagine it in the picture from the 2015 interview as it goes back and forth. So for us here at the Dusty Wheel, we think it's 99.99% sure or certain that that's Michael McElhatton, and he's at the table read for the Wheel of Time television series, and we're really excited about it. For me in particular, I'm
okay, Innkeeper,
that it's Thane and Mordeth.
Matt, you need an acting agent. You need to get on Criminal Minds, be one of those.
You are an executive worst nightmare. I love everything about that. That was so.
You remember the unblurring? It's great. We go all the way back.
Oh, I remember the unblurring.
It's so dramatic.
It was where I was there.
This is peak fandom. Oh my gosh. More like Unhinged Wheel.
Unhinged Wheel.
Oh gosh. Yes. But yeah, Silvertooth walked away for a second, came back to the glorious blast from the past.
I mean, you were dead on. You were dead on. So
baby,
I trust
baby
Elaine.
Innkeeper. Yeah, it is like you were saying, Gus. It is literally about finding the right. Like you have to find. I watched so many videos of Michael McElhatton. Like I watched that whole there was a long interview, and I was like, oh, they did a side profile, and I literally had to stop it right when I got oh, it's perfect. It's like right in the spot.
Enhance.
You're like, give me a profile. Give me a profile. I need to see the ear. The ear is essential.
Oh gosh, that was such a fun time, everybody. Oh, sheesh. Let's go look at the poll here. Okay, I mean, we convinced some of you. We're at 100 and almost 70 votes, and now we're at an 80-20. 80-20. So,
I just the teeth argument.
The teeth.
Yeah.
As someone who's had Invisalign, we are able to change that.
That quickly?
Yes. It's been a year. It's been like 2 years.
But they look the same.
The teeth. I thought they said that the teeth look different. That's why.
No, the teeth look the same. Yeah.
Yeah, everything looks the same. Okay, because I thought somebody was like, the teeth don't look the same. I was not paying attention to the teeth.
I think they did. That was they were like her mouth was like more open in a couple, but no, the teeth look pretty dead on. I was gonna put this. Unhinged is better. That's right. Who wants to be hinged? So 170 voted on this one, and 80-20. That's pretty good. We're doing the lights work. We're Elaine versus Elaine is slowly moving off, but there's going to be a fringe. I understand. I have been there so many times. I'm still there on a number of theories. There's always going to be some Wheel of Time, something that you're just going to hold on to until you die, and I get it. So Elaine might be your taint, I guess, that might be their thing. So
they don't warn you in acting school that someday somebody's going to be analyzing your teeth.
No.
I know.
What a special thing.
No.
I know. This was early on. That was so early on where they knew we were like unhinged. When we unblurred the script, I'm sure people were like, "Are you kidding me?" Like that was tough. We spent so much time doing that, but I think we got pretty close. So yeah. Good times, everyone. Good times. Okay, those are your announcements. We got the trailer, Snacc order calendar, What Idol Holiday Extravaganza. Shora Agdashlu is with us. What do you think about that? I know obviously this is something that we knew, right? It was unofficial for a while, but while we're like, yeah, this sounds like it. The fans led the charge of basically, going to Shora and saying we need you in our show, basically.
Shout out to Lesbian Nerdy, am I right?
Right. Right. No, this is
manifesting that.
No, seriously, right? We now she's in the show, right? She's Elida. We're gonna do a Becoming Elida. I don't know if you two have seen our Becoming episodes, but we're gonna do a Becoming Elida episode. I put out a casting call for guests who want to come on. Who wants to come on and be a guest that's going to that loves Elida. Basically, you need somebody that loves Elida to really be able to tell us, how they believe.
That's a strong word.
Yeah. I mean,
You can have passion.
love. Yeah. No, you'd be surprised, without going to spoilers. I've met so many people that are like, she's the best or whatever. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's your cup of tea. I mean, people always ask me why do I love a Lanfear? I get it. Whatever.
That is certainly a feeling to have.
Did you see, by the way, what Rafe posted on Instagram about Shora?
Oh yeah, let's go there. Yeah, thank you very much for bringing that up. Let's post
great
that.
little story.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me close that out. Rafe. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
And it goes, then there's a little, there's a post also from, well, here we go. Let's post this. We'll pause this so we can, let's zoom in here. Oh, I guess it won't let me do any more than this. So yeah, he said, back in 2020, when we were deep in the blight we had built in Prague, sitting on a wet log together, Rosamund said she had a question for me. She was giving a speech to Rand about a woman who had tortured her at the White Tower, beating her to make her more powerful. I explained it was Elida, and she said, who do you picture when you think of this woman? I said, Shora Agdashlu, and she said, perfect. I have a thing for older Persian women, you know. Oh, of course. Where'd it go? Let me pause that one. There we go. Okay. I have a thing for older Persian women, you know. 4 years later, it's a reality. A warm welcome as Shora Agdashlu joins the Wheel of Time. So
I'm so happy.
Yeah, that's fun, right?
Christmas came early. I'm so happy. Merry Christmas to us all.
I know, right? Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I say what were you saying? Go ahead.
I was saying 2 Decembers ago, I remember, was when this first started ramping up. It was, I think, Christmas during season 1 when.
Oh my gosh.
Troy was first like, why are y'all tagging me? What's going on?
Yeah. Oh, it's funny how that stuff just happened, and now she's gonna be. It's March 13th. Like, how are you both feeling about season 3 of the Wheel of Time?
I'm very, very excited.
I'm so excited.
I was pretty excited, and then I saw the trailer, and I got much more excited.
Yeah.
I mean, book 4 is my favorite book. I don't think that's a hot take from anybody.
No, yeah.
Just so many fantastic moments. I am excited to see how they do them.
Yeah, I can't wait. There's just so much good material that they have to work with. I mean, it's like an embarrassment of riches of things that will probably happen. Obviously, keeping things not spoiled, but like, I mean, it's just, it's one of the best of all the books, and I can't wait to see how they tackle these moments. I just think it's going to be. I think I've always said that I think that season 3 is when the show is really going to hit its true stride, because of just the quality of the material at that point and how exciting that book is. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being right. I think I will be.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, it just keeps building, right? I mean, even The Great Hunt as a book and what they gave us in season 2 was just kind of like, it almost was just like a taste of where this could go. I mean, for it to end with Moghedien and Lanfear in that scene, like, that was just so good. And to see Moghedien in the teaser, like that's way too much fun. By the way,
I felt so vindicated because Moghedien is my favorite Forsaken. I know you have your Lanfear. I have Moghedien.
I have Samael.
And you have Samael, and no one will take that from you.
Oh, nobody else wants it.
You can have Samael.
Yeah. A little competition there.
But Moghedien's mine, and somebody tweeted out after that scene. People finally see how great Moghedien is. I was like, finally, I've been here. The queen of the Moghedien fan club. Put some respect on my name. I am vindicated by this. And she just lived up to all of my expectations and more. I was so pleased. So pleased.
How much do you like Moghedien's hair? That's the next poll, everybody. Haircut. What are the options? Give me 4 options. How much do you like Moghedien's haircut? Putting you guys on the spot.
Yes.
Obsessed.
Obsessed. Love. Okay. Love.
Getting one. Copying the haircut. Something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Like. Yeah.
Currently rocking it.
Okay. Yeah. Currently rocking it. It's good. Currently rocking it, or
calling my stylist.
Yeah.
That's it.
Meh.
We'll put a Matt in there.
We got to throw a Matt at the end.
You gotta give him the option.
How dare you? How dare anyone? Don't even look at the Matt option.
Oh, it bangs. That would have been a good one. It's a hood.
Dang it. Dang it.
Okay. While you guys vote on this one, do you remember this moment? We brought this up. Like, somebody, I can't remember if they said, like, you had, like, send us, like, saying fa.
Yeah.
So here she is. She did. She, like, posted this. Here you go. Enjoy.
Satisfied.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Here we go.
Satisfied.
By the way, I'm most satisfied with that, like in the satisfied. Like like when she said that, I was like, okay, I gotta see this Elida. She's gonna.
I'm prepared to have
By
her
the
make me
there's-
like her.
there's
She
like,
can make me like her.
Yeah, they always do.
Fans are like between like this. It doesn't matter. She say pow fa. Who cares? We have Shora Agdashlu in the show. So yeah, that was a good time. That video had 122,000 views. That's so good.
She found a cloak for that. She's so clever. I found a cloak.
I
for that.
believe
You
that she
gotta like look at like going back here. Look, she did it. She said the thing. Say the line. Fa. That's so good.
Oh my god, she loved it.
Look at. I just love all the like the fandom reaction to like.
This is so
having
great.
so much fun.
So where's Jenny? Someone check on Jenny. Oh gosh, I forgot about these. I'm
This
dead.
fandom is too funny.
Instantly iconic. I think you've broken Twitter of time. Oh gosh.
I'm intimidated and scared too.
Satisfied.
I've never before truly witnessed such perfection. Oh my gosh, this is a good. This is a good kind of. I have died. This is good. This is a good memory trip down memory lane. That was March, by the way, March 7th, everyone.
Oh, really?
March 7th. So
Almost a year.
when she sent us that, yeah, that's almost. Yeah, we're almost 2 years. Oh, March 7th. That's true, right? That's close to that release.
That was the
So.
release.
Oh my god, it
That's
can't come
fun.
fast enough.
I'm just proud of myself. I guessed when season 2 wrapped. I said I bet end of the first quarter of 2025. I was right. I'm happy. I'm going to take 1 second and just be proud of myself for that.
Nice
Proud
job.
of
By the
Industry.
By the way, 100 and almost 60 of you voted in the last 2 minutes. Hey, thanks everybody for being here. It's a What Wednesday. You can feel the energy. You know that you can. It's so weird. Like from the number of people voting, I'm like, okay, yeah, people are really. You know, you get 150, 200 votes. Fans are like, you know, there's like some freak energy in the air of like news is in the air at this point. So
News is newsing.
news is newsing. Yeah.
I'm
Oh wow.
fine, Johnny.
By the way, are you ready for this vote? Because
Yeah.
you know, I'm trying to leave it up. I mean, it's close enough that I'm gonna leave it here because love or meh could take the crown here. So
Here's the thing: we've split the votes on the.
we
other
did.
side.
We did.
Splits the votes.
We did.
Because if it were not a vote split, if
Yes.
it was not a vote split, we would be like overwhelmingly in love
That's
with it. But because we
it's
split the
accurate.
vote,
We did. I love how that is love. That's love from Mogedian. That's you want to make sure.
A fierce defender.
I will end that vote at 167 votes and love and meh both for the top, but then obsessed gets
We're gonna call it a
22.
win. We're gonna say it's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Love it.
Take it.
That's pretty good too, right? I think that's a pretty good vote.
What
So
I
yes,
feel-
yeah.
it's a it's a blunt cut bang is a difficult look to pull off, and she pulls it off swimmingly.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's like this scene from the trailer, like this is a ridiculous, she scares me, you know, like I'm like
She's terrifying.
Like
Oh my
this
God,
here, let me
the webs.
like that look, I'm just like, yeah, she looks like she's gonna kill some people.
You probably will.
And from like a technical acting standpoint, it's very like she's not a tall woman. She's pretty teeny, especially compared to Natasha, and she holds her own so well. Like to be a short actor trying to intimidate a taller actor is kind of like a chihuahua trying to intimidate a pit bull, and she like does it. She has that presence, and you really have to have quite the presence to be able to do that as a shorter actor. It's really awesome.
Yeah, she's extremely imposing. Like, I was fearful for my land fear that moment.
Yeah.
From season 2. Oh yeah, exactly. I was feeling this way. You're right.
Yeah.
This is I was like this. I was like like at the end of that episode, I was like no.
Exciting.
I was like, this cannot be. Rand and I were feeling the same thing right here.
and
Mogedian better not do anything.
That's a testament to Natasha as well, because I think what a lot of people forget is that in in a scene like that where somebody has to be intimidating, it's as much on the other people as it is on them.
To sell it.
I have a teacher who tells me, how do you know if you got 10 people in a room, which of them is Caesar? He's the one everybody else is looking at.
Yeah, sure.
The way that Natasha responds in that scene is just so. She's
Yeah.
terrified, so we're terrified for her.
Yeah.
Which is like this is so impressive to be terrified for Lanfear in that moment.
Yeah.
It's like, by the way,
Somebody said
talking.
she's not that short, but Natasha's very tall, and still those point stands. You're still so much shorter than your co-star or co-actor. That it's a tough order. You really have to work what you got and
By the
have
way,
friends. The
talk-
bad place version of them.
Yeah, talk about like a little intimidation. Just
Oh my god.
Lanfear with the
outfit.
knife there, and all of them, and then Mogedion in the back with their head tilted. That's just so well done. Like the head tilting is just like, it's something that's like frightening when you're just like, it's not like you trust Lanfear. It's just that
No.
you might trust Lanfear's judgment a little bit more than Mogedion's judgment here.
You might.
Calling out bad guys.
Well, because Lanfear is in love with Rand, so theoretically she's not trying to kill him so much. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, what's a little couples that? But Begedion's just, as Lanfear said, insane,
Yeah.
which is scarier because we can't necessarily predict her in the same way.
So, by the way, there's a little bit of they want me to do Moraine or Moraine here. Like we all
Moraine
agree
or
this is
Moraine?
we all agree this is Moraine, right? Like
You know,
yeah, but no, this has got to be Moraine.
Probably.
They're
That's
doing all like the
Moraine?
killing. I mean, this is like how many
Moraine.
times has Lanfear killed her in this freaking trailer?
It's so Moraine.
So that's Moraine. I don't
It's,
think we need to do a Moraine or Moraine tier. Come on.
Moraine
it's
or
Glass
Moraine.
Collins. It's her. Yeah, it's bad stuff.
Well, because this is what she fears, right? Is that, I mean,
She's gonna fail the kids.
it's why I think that like Luce Theron's friends are going to be like the Forsaken are going to have been some people that were close in some way to Luce Theron. Is that it increases the fear that Rand's friends could turn just like that?
Yeah, it's I love seeing that. Like I don't think in my head I was ever created like a frightening image like this. Like, oh yeah, if they turned, this would be
That'd be pretty bad.
It'd be pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
They're pretty powerful kids.
Moraine or Moraine. I put it up there for those of you in chat that were like gluttons for another Moraine
I did, yeah.
post there. So
Do we have a lead on who this is next to Rand?
That's got to be Egwene.
Is that? Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it is.
look at her.
yeah, all that's that's Perrin,
what an
Mogedion,
outfit.
Elaine, Matt, Nynaeve, Egwene, and Rand. What's so amazing about the shot is I hope we get more than this. Like
Oh, we definitely will. This is going to be, I think.
I feel like we riot if there's just this one section. Hold on. Like if this all we get, what a waste of costuming. Like
Yeah, I don't think they would do that.
Listen, sometimes that has been known to happen. You spend all the time and money on a costume they see for 5 seconds. I mean,
this would be the worst decision ever. Okay, not
Yeah.
ever.
they're not
that-
gonna.
that might have been the
I think
horn
it's gonna be the
placement,
whole
but-
thing.
To reconstruct the set and do there's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's
for it just to be a tag.
but we've got to have more than that, folks.
so.
Come on.
Oh, definitely.
Um,
Glass columns. This is gonna be a terrible time. What a
Oh yeah.
acting challenge for Rosamund Pike.
100%. Like, by the way, my chat, I had to restart my browser over here to get chat again. And we're back. I'm back here. I mean, you can all see me, but I have chat again. I can see Moraine or Moraine. See, if you look at Elaine and Elaine, and then you have Moraine and Moraine, they're about the same. There's just like a 20% of you, they're just obstinate. That's what's. That's
I
definitely
really do
Moraine.
believe that.
It's fun to be contrarian sometimes.
It is
no.
like that person that was standing next to Loyal in episode 6 in that one shot. I get it. I'm just contrarian. No one believed me. But I thought there was somebody there. I still think he was green screened out. Honestly, I think he was there making sure that he didn't fall off his horse, and I think they green screened him out. I'm holding to that one forever.
You know what? I think you're right. I think you're right.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
You guys are too nice.
it's a
Okay.
conspiracy.
It's a good-
They're out there making you look Crazy.
They're like, you remember when he unblurred those lines? We're gonna
Yeah, we're gonna now blur this.
Yeah, that's true. They won some and they lost some there. Like the guy unblurred it, but he won't let go of the guy standing next to the horse. And so we're kind of balanced out here. Like the wheel is balanced. I get it.
Yeah. They did to put you in your place.
That's right. About 150 you voted on this one. Moraine or Moraine? It is Moraine with 83%. Okay. We are actually almost at the hour mark. This has been so fun for so much time. Like, we're just chatting about the show and seeing you guys. Like, I had this whole, like, concept of, like, I'm going to go, and we were going to talk about it. But, like, it was like the first hour, there's so much news. It's just fun to see you both and talk about this. Yeah. Like, it's just fun to be with everybody and chat. This is a live call-in talk show. Like, we'll weave you into the conversation. So if you would like to get online, sometimes we make you wait 10, 15, 20 minutes. Some of you, I think our longest was like an hour and a half. It was bad.
Was on the phone for an hour and a half?
Yeah, I think so. I want to say like hour and a half. Like when people call internationally, I feel really bad. So then like I try to like take their calls, but I think we left somebody on the call. It's like, I think so. I don't know. Over like 300 or 400 live streams, like it's bound to happen. Someone just gets, stuck on the line for a long time,
I've never taken a call on a live stream, and it's chaos. Live streams are chaos already. I can't even imagine
they are.
It's an option.
It's quite an interesting aspect of our show. But if you would like to give us a call, it's 1-313-825-5968. If you had a comment about any of the news we talked about, or if you had a question for our wonderful guest tonight. And now I'm going to give the option to you two. Would you like to go back to the trailer and talk about anything in the trailer before we jump into the topic for tonight, or would you like to just jump into the topic? Your call. I'm open to it all.
I feel pretty good on the trailer personally, but if there's anything you want to touch on, Allie, we can.
Is there anything you didn't talk about in those 12 hours?
No. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. Like, we didn't like do a deep dive on the kind of topic we're about to talk about tonight, which is we didn't like go into what they were maybe trying to do with some of the stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we
were mentioning like examining scenes. Like we were just like, I mean, there were so many gasps, you know what I mean? Like you watch this thing and like people are just, I remember watching it for the first 5 times. We're like, what? And you still miss stuff, right? You have to kind of go through like one by one, basically. You did see this, I'm assuming. Let me just go here. You saw the person on the bed, right?
Yes.
Okay. There's a person on the bed. We just don't know who that person is. Not that person not the fake looking thing. They're pinning somebody on the bed. Does that so let me go, I'll go grab the shot. Innkeeper, where did I post this at? I'm trying to remember where I posted this. If someone has that link, they want to send it to me. There's like someone on top of the.
Yeah. Well, isn't there there's that other shot with Lanfear pinning Moiraine down.
Oh, yes. Yeah. This is not that, but we can show that.
No, I wasn't sure because we're talking about the same thing.
Oh, like that maybe Moiraine is there.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Can we tie those?
I have no context for it.
I want to say that people that was not the same bed, but now let's do a confirmation, Gus, while you're here and you brought it up. I got to bring up if you remember, where does she start? Like just I think it's right here. There we go. Yeah, no, I think the bed. Yeah, that's what we all decided. The bed is different pillows here. Different pillows.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I love that this is a total take on is it a sex or a murder thing from season 2. Like it's like.
Is it? Yeah.
When Matt was like to Ishamael, he's like, "Is this a sex or a murder thing?" Isn't that what he said it to? Something like that.
We're just continuing. You know what? I feel like that's the power of the Forsaken. You don't know if they want to have sex with you or if they want to murder you. It's kind of both. And I think that's the vibe that they need to enter every scene with.
Yeah. By the way, is the person on the bed wearing shoes? This is a good question, Joe. Like, and I'm so annoyed because I actually have a really good image of this. It's just hard to actually get this image while we're live. I could leave you guys to just kind of like, So if Innkeeper hasn't sent me, I'm looking to see if there have been any, I can't remember where this thing's at. I posted this somewhere. Oh, Oh, I posted it. Oh, I know exactly where I posted it. I posted it on Facebook. I know you're
On
like
Facebook?
What? Why are you posting on Facebook? I get.
That,
I mean,
that is the exact question I had.
yeah, like it's a fair question. Like Facebook usually is kind of a cluster.
Yeah, a little
when-
bit. But you just felt like mixing it up, going back to our roots of social media.
That is a very weird. Like I clicked on a link for Facebook and it said it was like, oh, interesting. Yeah, I can't get to the freaking page. So, okay, we're not going to worry about that. Trying to find the image unless somebody tells me they sent it to me. We will, but somebody was saying in the comments of Facebook, they were like, actually the legs, there's no legs. It's like CGI and the person's missing legs. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing. Maybe we couldn't. Hybrid Havoc, do you want to throw that into Blue Sky on I saw you. If you want to throw that into direct message on Blue Sky, that'd be great.
I saw some folks in chat positing that might be. I'm trying not to spoil too much, but there's a bubble of evil in book 4 that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
I
yeah.
thought that too.
That's
Yeah.
This is you can kind of see a face right here.
Whoa.
Looks
Like
yeah.
hair, face, arm. But then if like back behind here, there's not like there's no legs. There's no legs.
No, that's fine.
So you're like, yeah, that's weird.
Well, wait, where would the legs be? Wait, okay, I'm looking at this. So,
So yeah, here's the image right here. So you see that the arm is at the bottom,
Yeah.
but like, maybe their legs are pinned under this person's legs. I don't know. People were saying like, where are the legs? Which made me
It
laugh.
looks like the guy's made out of like metal or something. Like,
Yeah, like it's like someone's like, well, they're under the sheets or something,
Well,
bent.
I think it's bent. Yeah, I think it's bent. Like that, because I think that's their foot, right there. Like the little triangle thing jutting out from like their butt area. That looks like a foot.
right down there. Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be.
that's a foot. I
Okay.
think it's like they're like kneeling forward.
I mean, while we're talking about this, we have to say we always have to ask who is on the
mirror's
bed.
Yeah, it's that.
I have a spoiler thing that I think this
It's
is.
probably.
Oh, it's definitely the thing you think it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But,
it's
like,
that.
Who's being pinned by one of those is kind of the question we all
The-
have here.
Could it be a bear?
Yes, we talked about like the character Bear Lane. Yes, and by the way, these are the 4 options I've seen most often, so we're going to put them up here, and you can determine. There you go. So, foot or faint.
What?
Foot or faint is Noman Gardens. That's right, foot or faint instead of like
Foot or
Moraine or
faint.
Moraint. Yes, you can answer that question. We actually do have some callers who called in, and one is long distance, so we will take
Okay.
them first. I don't want to make them pay for too long here. The call-in lines have kind of like worked really well. Like during our big live stream, for some reason we weren't. I'm hoping the audio is good this time. So here we go. Oh yes, Dana Lou said, "Can we change the spoiler level to book 5 now?" Yes, we may.
Great.
Spoiler level is now book 5. To the end of
It's
book
definitely
5,
the
everyone.
mirror
For those new
level
readers,
spoiler.
hopefully you enjoyed some time here. We're moving on to book 5 spoilers in chat, and for us on the show, we can do that too. So yes, thank you for asking, Dana Lou. We are now there. So let me welcome our first caller to the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
It's Jenny, lesbian nerdy.
Lesbian Nerdy!
Really long distance.
Jenny, how you doing today?
Yes. I'm good. I want to talk about the scene that you had up and then you took it down.
This one.
Lanfear atop
Oh,
Moraine.
not that one.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You do?
Land-
Did you?
Lanfear atop Moraine. Yes, let's turn
shocked.
it to.
Yes. I have. This is of interest to me.
Really?
Why?
What?
I don't know. It's a scene I didn't know I wanted, and I had a theory that it was going to like be there's going to be like Moraine and Swan, right? But they're like, okay, book 5.
We're
you know,
book
like,
5,
They're in their
yes.
love shack, but it's
Book 5.
love shack
Yeah.
is like a magical place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then because Lanfear is really good in Teleron Riyadh, she takes one place, and that's why Moraine looks all shocked. But then I noticed, like on subsequent views, it's a spinny scene, which makes me think that it's like just in the columns, or not the columns, the rings. Thoughts?
Is it possible that we get like flickers in the columns of like different ways that?
Oh, you're right. It is a flippy scene.
Whoa!
Oh, it's a flippy scene.
Spinny scene.
It's the spin scene. You're right. I didn't think that. Oh man, this is definitely one of the I
was very upset. Yeah, I was upset when I noticed it was a spinny scene.
I'm just moving on to this one because I really like the shadow. The shadow here is just so good. The shadow on the
look
at
that.
If it's a spinny scene,
What's
do
a
you
spinny
think
scene?
it's like a mirror world where Moraine tried the strategy of what if I seduce Lanfear, or do you think it's something else?
Yeah, so spinny scene. By the way, spinny scene is the idea being that this is like one of the many futures, right? Like that she's going through the many futures here, and so spinning. And I had not actually really keyed in on that. So you did bring this newly to me here. I'll be honest, was not focused on the spinning aspect of what was happening in the scene. I was like, what is my Lanfear doing here? Yeah. Oh, I see. So yes, I think you're right. Wow. Okay. So spinning scene. Yeah. I think that's a really good theory now. So this is not the Love Shack. Well, at least I don't think it is. So I'm gonna end this poll currently. By the way, the poll about 150 voted on who is on the bed. Still no. Well, actually, Berlaine is. Even though Berlaine hasn't been introduced, people are gonna go like maybe that's a new character being introduced in this season and on the bed. About 50% of you said that. So I'm gonna ask, like, where is this happening? And if you don't know what we're talking about, you're not currently watching us live. But where is this scene with Lanfear on top of Moraine that would qualify for, is this a sex or a murder thing? So where's this happening? We're going to say Love Shack.
I see some people in chat saying, People
Rodian,
in chat saying surprised I noticed it. I watched this a lot.
Rodian rings. Is there anything else beyond? I guess you could just say, we can say Teleron Riyadh. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, we can say Dream. I guess we'll just say Teleron. We're at book 5, glass so columns. Teleron Riyadh. Okay.
Do we do glass columns?
Sorry. For this one, glass columns. No, I don't think that would really qualify here. Rings would be so the rings, Teleron Riyadh, Love Shack.
Yeah, the rings.
We're book 5, so I want to kind of be
that's
careful.
What I meant the rings.
I just want to be careful with, by the way, everybody in chat, just be careful with any options you put up here that are not known after book 5, please. So I'm just going to go for these 3 unless I see anything else. Love Shack, Rodian Rings, or Teleron Riyadh. Those are your options, everybody. Yeah, go for it. No, I don't think that's like a... Sorry, I'm being pedantic here. Let's just...
Pedantry is good.
I don't think... I would not vote.
I don't want to go too deep into like metaphysics stuff, because then it's hard to like explain yes or no or whys, because some of our guests are still reading and stuff. So it looks like the moon. Is this the Crescent Inn? I could have put that there. Yes. Oh, that's an interesting thing. Like is this the? Can somebody go find? Is this the bed from season 2?
Oh, that's a good call.
Oh, is this the bed? Somebody go prove this out. Is this the bed from season 2? Is this
in the inn?
Yeah, is this Rand and her's Love Shack? Is this Lanfear's Love Shack? Oh my gosh! If this
it does look like it. I think.
Somebody go prove out the Lanfear Love Shack. Come on.
Be a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody go. Kevin just said, "Oh, you just." He said, "Oh, those are the same." I think they are. It looks like it. Yeah. Somebody go prove it. Send me a screenshot or something. Like, let's get there. I need to post this one. Oh, last night it was like one of those things. I don't know if you guys felt this recently in a couple of days. You're just not sleeping at night because you're just thinking about the trailer or stuff. Like that happens to me. I don't know if it's happening to you, but
of course.
Like on Instagram, I posted this because I was, and maybe you all found this already, and that's fine, and you're all cool. But like this comes from like the Shadow Rising, right? Like Rand quivered, the light from the columns was a shimmering blue haze. I had forgotten that. Shimmering blue haze, and they used the blue haze, and I was like, oh, damn, that's so good. And it said that seemed solid, that seemed to claw the nerves out of his skin, the wind hollowed, one vast whirlwind sucking inward. And I was like, I mean, I saw that, I had to go find that, I had to post that. And the next one, same kind of thing. He stood at the edge of the glass column, staring out at Abendasora, a chora tree. A city is in the wilderness without choras, and now there's only one. The columns sparkled in the blue glow from the dome of fog above. Again, in my head, like yes, I remember this statement. The blue glow here, like, dude, like nice call.
It's so good
on the production side of that. Like that was so freaking cool. So
they said, we've read these books. Do not.
Exactly. Oh, this is so good.
Not
Thank you very much. By the way, this is so cool because this one came from, thank you, Carly. Yes,
Oh
there
my
it is.
God.
It is.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh
that.
my gosh. Jenny, did you just bring that up to us? Like, was this Rand Love Shack? How did we get there? Now I can't remember. But anyways, I just remember
I just was about to spinny. It is, but it's just, it's amazing.
Oh yes, the
I'm
Crescent
so
Inn.
impressed.
Somebody said the Moon Inn. That's what happened in chat. Somebody said,
It's the
"Is this the
Crescent Inn."
Moon Inn?" And I was like,
That's
"Oh wait, their
unbelievable.
freaking bed. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is their
that was-
Love Shack." So nice call. I
Yep.
love it. I love
The
it when
details on the show make
Carly. Thank you very much, Carly.
Oh,
Thank you for doing that. They are the same. So. Jennifer Bear, yes, I take credit for it. Yes, I will give you credit. I'm going to still post about it later because it's so cool. But yes, Jennifer, that's
That was
yours.
brilliant.
Brilliant. The Crescent. We just discovered something new about the trailer. That was so freaking cool. We just we freak sourced that. Is that like free like crowdsourcing with freaks? Yes. Hardcore fan freak sourcing. That's what just happened today. This is why I actually like the 12 hours of the trailer thing is. Yeah, something 6 hours in, you're like, we've already seen everything, and then somehow in like the next 6 hours, you find stuff. So, Joe Perry, save them cash reusing the same set. Yes, that's
I
true.
mean,
Yes,
listen,
that is part of it,
that's a decent consideration. It's not laziness. It's just budget. I mean, if you're gonna pick between a new set to choke Moraine in, or like something really cool happening at the final episode, you're gonna pick the cool thing at the final episode.
By the way, Carly said, "Okay, but is this the version of the story where Moraine and Lanfear were in the inn together?" That's true. Like, if this was the future,
That's what I'm saying.
so that's good.
Where like
Yeah.
Moraine thought, I know how to land, seduce
my
Lanfear.
gosh.
Like, is that the future?
That's so good.
I want to see it.
Flicker.
Yeah, it's a flicker. It's a flicker. Oh my gosh,
I have one again, Lorraine.
I love you
Damn it,
guys. Flicker bed. That's right.
Flicker bed. Hashtag flicker bed.
Jenny, you were on the call long distance with us, so I want to also give you a chance to have a Shora moment. Would you like to talk to us about how you're feeling? Just tell us. We're like captive audience. How are you feeling about this moment?
Okay, I got about 3 hours sleep last night because I couldn't sleep. I just kept trying and then waking up with bliss. I'm so excited. I can't believe it. She's going to be Elida, and it's amazing. Elida's such a juicy role. Like, she's such a juicy role, and I can't wait to see Shora just eat it.
Oh,
It's gonna be
and she
so
will.
good. It's
She's
so good.
incredible.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's poll the audience here. About 150 you said, where is this happening? Love Shack, Radiant Rings, 63%. I'm with them. I agree that's where it's happening. And Andrew Berenson said she's still speechless. That's right. Jenny is still speechless. That's true. Elida, how are you feeling? So we're asking the audience, and Jenny, you get to help us fill the options for the poll here. Elida, how are you feeling? What are the options you would like fans to answer about how they're feeling?
No words.
No words. Okay. No words is one option. What else you got?
Incoherently blissful. Think of things that describe my emotions. Why is
If I,
there fireworks? Okay.
I don't know. This every time you say something, there's.
I did.
This is
I
how
did
you
two,
make us feel.
I did
Jenny.
2 thumbs up about how excited I was, and this is what our Zoom does.
That's pretty awesome. Oh my gosh, we
I
need to
think
add that.
fireworks are an appropriate actually answer for
Fireworks,
poll.
yes.
Fireworks.
That's how I
No
feel.
words, incoherently blissful fireworks. What's your last option there?
You want to throw a Met in there for all of the idiots?
No. There's no. This
No.
isn't a meh poll. No. You should just say
No.
like you're welcome. I don't know, something like that.
Perfection. Perfection.
Perfection. Okay,
Perfection.
here we go.
Yeah.
Elida casting, or I'm gonna put Shora. Am I saying that right? Shora as Elida. How are you feeling? I thought Fa would have been a good one, but we're not going to do it because I just posted it. Not because I wouldn't have replaced it. It's because I just posted it. So I love how you guys, from now on, you can only be a guest in the Dusty Wheel if you have cool Zoom stuff. Oh my gosh, that is a good way to like as a host.
It's
really,
bad because I have it on for therapy, and I've learned that I sarcastically will do peace signs and thumbs up all the time. So sometimes I'm like crying, and then I'm like,
oh my gosh, you're making me cry. Well, Jenny, thank you very much for calling us. Thank you for sharing your what I would call it, your no words, incoherent, blissful fireworks perfection. Apparently, if you put your thumbs down, it rains on your screen. That's wild. Jenny, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah.
By the way,
It's
Will
a
Weaves
good
is
day.
here, and they said this is pure chaos,
It's a
and
really
I love
good.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a good day to be a Wheel of Time fan. I don't. There's not much else to say. It's a really good day to be a Wheel of Time fan today.
Absolutely. And yes, good night, by the way, Jennifer, and sleep well and wake. Nice job on the Crescent Inn, Moon Inn thing. Nice job. Yeah, it is a good day. It's been a good week, right? This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's a good way to end the year. And to kind of just have this moment. Thank you very much for calling in. It was wonderful to hear your voice. And until we meet again, Jenny, we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Much love.
Always a delight.
Have a good night.
Love all of you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You too.
All right. We have one other caller. We'll weave them into the conversation. I do want us to get to the topic because I have questions. I have questions.
We'll get there.
We're basically there at this point, right? 120 of you have voted on Shora cast as Elida. How are you feeling? We're going to leave that one up a little bit, collect some more votes. Okay. So the whole when I was we were talking, remember, at MalkyriaCon, I was like, oh, we should totally do an episode. And what is your ideas? And we just started riffing on some things. And I remember, I think it was to you, Gus, I was like, I don't know, I am so impressed. I know everyone's going to be shocked about this. I'm so impressed with what they did with the character of Lanfear in season 2. And when I say so impressed, I know you're surprised, Allie. You're like, what? When I say so impressed is there are other characters, and yes, I love the character Lanfear, but I love other characters in the show. I love the character Varen. I love the character, I love characters, and they're in the show, but I did not feel them as well instantiated, as substantial. I don't know what the word would be, just as perfectly kind of taken from the pages.
Yeah.
And brought to life in this way. And so I was just I don't really get it. I don't do this for a living or anything. I just watch this stuff. I read books, and sometimes I know my friends are going to chat. They're going to give me a hard time. I used to read books. How about that? And I watch TV and TV shows, and I enjoy them. I like a good, what is it? I almost said Shiloh. No. Anyways, there's a bunch of Apple TV shows I love these days. Silo. There. I was like Shiloh. I can't get it. Silo.
Slow Horses. Also adapted
Oh,
book.
I love Slow Horses.
Slow Horses. I really like. Yeah, and I haven't read those books, but I'm like, okay, these are good shows. I love TV. I love fantasy. It's a blast. I just don't understand maybe the processes here, and so this is gonna sound so novice and so basic. but like, can you just describe to me like the concept of a writer's room? Like, I get it. A bunch of people get in a room and they're writing, brainstorming something. Like, just can you summarize it? Tell us like help me understand, like, first of all, a writer's room. What does it look like?
A room full of writers is essentially what it looks like. You got a big long table, you've got a whiteboard to write down ideas. It kind of depends on the showrunner style. Some showrunners really like note cards. That's like a big deal. Some showrunners really like a whiteboard. So it just kind of depends on that. But when it comes to the actual writer's room, you have writers of a bunch of different levels. So you've got your showrunner at the top, Rafe Judkins, who essentially goes back and forth between the production elements of everything and the writing. He essentially is the other than the executives, who of course are going to make their opinions and wants known, he's the person that's kind of unifying all aspects of the production to make sure that everything stays on task. In movies, it's the director, and in TV, it's the showrunner.
Okay.
So their writer's room, they're going to have a couple different levels of writers that hold various different responsibilities. So your like primary writer is going to be like a staff writer. They're the cheapest writer. They're usually the youngest and newest writer on the scene, all the way up to something called a co-EP or a co-executive producer. And that's like their second in command.
To be clear, is different from an executive producer,
yes,
which is different from a producer. Producer in film and television is like vice president in business. It's a title that gets slapped on when you have a lot of power.
Yeah.
And it can be power in any different number of arenas.
Yeah. So like if someone's like, I'm a producer, that could mean anything from
anything.
I am like second in command in the writer's room to I threw a bunch of money at something.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
or I made a production happen, so it's
I facilitated a handshake here between you two, and so because of that,
I got producer credit. Yeah.
Gotcha. So a producer
those people
could
are in
be
the writer's room.
They're not.
They're not, but they might have an effect on what comes out of the writer's room. Is
Theoretically.
They
right?
can, yeah.
They can. So, so that whole, like you said, there's like, okay, there's different levels in a writer room. That staff writer, like, what is the purpose then of that? I don't know, the most junior writer in the room. Like, are they there to like learn and like, are they like, you take a first draft of something? No, you're just there to brainstorm. Are they? You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'm trying to think of like,
question.
Like what are they doing functionally when it comes to like the script that you end up getting or drafts of a script that people are looking at?
So a staff writer is not necessarily guaranteed a script to write. So it really depends on the size of the room, right, and their budget for writers, and two, it also depends on the amount of episodes that they're going to have. Showrunners are usually going to tackle some of the like bigger tentpole episodes, right? Like the finale or the climax episode toward the end. They're usually going to jump on the ones that are really exciting. And then it kind of goes from there. They're going to assign episodes to their most trusted people that are like the most technically difficult to write. And then beyond that, it kind of trickles down. There's a level that you get to where you are guaranteed a script on a show if you are staffed. But a staff writer, you are not necessarily guaranteed an episode. You are there primarily as an idea generator and somebody there to support the production. You may get an episode, and if you do, that's amazing. And then you get credit for that episode, or you may co-write with somebody. They usually try really hard, from my experience, to give everyone who is writing on a show an episode, because they know how much it sucks to not write an episode on a show that you are staffed on. But you're not necessarily guaranteed in your contract to write one.
Yeah.
So
there's also going to be writer's assistants. They're primarily there to learn and do like basic tasks.
Yeah, they take all the notes.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah.
Because writers talk a lot. It's an all day thing where you are talking about episodes, what you call beating out an episode. So you are going through beat by beat and coming up with everything that happens in an episode. And then you are given that episode, they're assigned that episode, but you already know the basic outline of everything that happens and all the kind of ideas that happen. You take all the notes that the writers assistants wrote, and you compile that all together and you make the episode actually happen. But like, you'll be pitching jokes, you'll be pitching like conversations that happen. Like, it is pretty decided on everything that happens once you are writing an episode.
So when you're writing, so they, and you see that, right? You see the writers of the episodes, and like that doesn't mean others are others still writing portions of that episode, and you might be refining it? Like, how much of that typically, I know you don't necessarily know for the Wheel of Time, but like, let's say, person A says they were the writer on this. That doesn't mean person B, C, D, E, and F did not write portions of it, or does it mean that?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, on my Regrets episode, I wrote that episode, but certainly when I turned it in, it was changed. Like, jokes were changed. They hire punch up writers too that will like pitch jokes or new takes on things that they might take and spin. So like, just because you have submitted what is your like final draft of what you're getting paid for, I have friends who are like, I didn't write a single line in that episode, but that was the episode that I got credited
really?
for.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay.
So it can change. I mean, ideally that doesn't happen, but like, if the showrunner goes, you know what, I want to go in a completely different direction with this, and they might, and this happens sometimes, then put themselves on as a writer as well of the episode if somebody else is so heavily involved in it. And that can get interesting politically in the room, like who wrote what. So usually, to keep it simple, someone who is assigned the episode is the writer, but things can get a little bit complicated. And why you have like lower level writers is, one, budget. You can't necessarily afford a room. You get a certain amount of money for the writer's room, and this is like what you're going to pay each writer. And each writer who is more upper level, it costs more money. It's kind of like, a vice president is going to cost more than your entry level employee. An associate. And part of the reason for this is that we need people coming up through the pipeline. Right now, Hollywood actually has kind of an issue with that right now, is that people are getting stuck at levels and not moving up, much like a lot of industries right now.
Sure.
And so, you need voices coming up through the pipeline and learning how to become showrunners themselves, so that we don't one day turn around and all of our showrunners are retired, right? So that's one reason. The other reason is, budget. So you're going to trickle down how much you're paying each person based on their level of experience, and that is negotiated with their representatives and their lawyers. So they're going to come in with like, this is what I cost, right, to work on your thing. I cannot go in and be like, I, Allie, require $100,000 salary. Oh, and there's also a certain level where you don't only get a salary, you also get paid per episode that you write, which is like money. That's when you're hit a really nice stride in your career. I'm not there. So I can't come in and be like, I'm paid per episode and I also get $100,000 salary. Like, that is just not going to fly. So it's going to be that trickle down thing where it's like, I'm going to hire some people who are at a lower level and some people who are at a higher level who I trust.
And by the way, we were having, and Gus, let me just quickly, and then I'll have you go to you. We were having so much fun doing everything else. I just jumped into this topic because I didn't give you two a chance to introduce yourselves to the audience. They're like, who are these two people? I mean, I hope you all know in notes in the description, and you both know Allie and Gus from the WheelTakes podcast. But both of you, from an industry perspective, do you want to share with our audience quickly kind of like what it is that you do and why are we having the conversation where you're talking about writers' rooms? Like, maybe summarize quickly for them, your experience and what it is you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Allie. I'm a writer in Los Angeles. I recently got back into performing. I'm trying to be honest about that because it feels like I'm telling people I'm back with a bad boyfriend.
She's really
but so because I had a public breakup with acting years and years ago, and then now I'm like, okay, so remember that guy that I was seeing who treated me terribly? I'm back, but he's different this time. He went to therapy. Like, that's how I feel. But yeah, so I've written for a couple shows. I'm currently writing on a new adult animated project, which is super fun. But recently my first big thing dropped, which is that I wrote for the reboot of Rugrats for Nickelodeon. So that was super fun. My second episode is awesome. Coming out at some point. Animation takes a long time to happen. But yeah, and I've pitched projects to a lot of places. I've been down the development pipeline a bunch of times, you know, and I used to work in development for a production company in Los Angeles. So yeah, and we also worked with Guy at Prague Shakes, which was fun years ago. So all of a sudden we were like, hey, isn't that Guy? So that was fun. But yeah.
That was cool.
I'm Gus. Yeah. I am an actor primarily in Los Angeles. I also direct theater, mostly, more than anything else. But yeah, I act, I voice act. It's a little bit less exciting to describe when compared to what Allie's doing. But mostly you go out and you audition, and sometimes you get cast and stuff. I'm currently working on a web series that I'm voice acting for, which is exciting, and also will probably not be out for quite some time.
And I'm writing for it. So for the first time, I'm writing for Gus, which is so
awesome.
Exciting. I'm writing for Gus. It's so cool. Yeah, he got cast after I was already writing on the project, and so we're pumped.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
But I have studied a lot about film and television production as well. I've been involved in film and TV production. I know some about what goes on behind the curtain, and I also studied adaptation in college. So the process of adapting from one medium to another, primarily books into scripts, play scripts, or television scripts. So I also come into this sort of thing from a writing perspective as well, though my focus is now primarily performance and direction.
And we both produced together a ton of stuff, things you've never heard of, but they were very fun. So yeah, we produced a lot too. So that's been good.
That's awesome. So yeah, for those of you who are kind of watching, like, yeah, I have none of those. And that's why I'm asking you to understand this. And Gus, you were gonna. Sorry, I totally cut you off rudely. Were you gonna say something that? Yeah, if you remember what it was, you're gonna say. And
yeah, I do. Yeah. It was in relation to we're talking about. There's kind of there's a bottleneck a little bit in terms of upward momentum of writers. There's sometimes people get in a hard way because they can't get an episode. And honestly, part of that is actually a function of the fact that TV is so many fewer episodes right now.
Yeah, somebody did talk about that in the chat.
Yeah, back in the day when it was, 20, 30 episodes a season, if you had however many writers, the writer's assistants might be able to write part of an episode.
Yeah, that was a big thing, is that like sometimes they'd even turn to a writer's assistant who had been on for a season or two, who was doing such a good job that they'd be like, you're in, kid. That does not happen as much anymore as you would hope. That's kind of a gamble to be a writer's assistant now, in terms of a career trajectory, because there are people getting stuck at that level for 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's tough. So there, yeah, but
So is this idea of writers getting an episode? I think you have 8 episodes, right? Mm-hmm. Is this, and maybe I'm wrong to think this way, it seems difficult anytime I've heard of people co-writing something, right? Or and in this case it'd be like 8 different writers potentially in 8 episodes. Is that just an extremely difficult thing to get to do well? Do you both believe that? Or no, you've seen it done extremely well, but it's just about getting the right writers to kind of coalesce around like a character arc, plot arc, and where they're going to go. Like, it seems hard to write in a way to kind of continue a character in the same tone, in the same, voice. But maybe I'm wrong in thinking that, because maybe writers are just that good. So yeah, like, what do you think about this 8 writers with 8 episodes and that kind of coherency between that versus one writer, or 2 writers for 8 episodes? I don't know.
That's a great question. And I think it's interesting to bring that up, because again, to talk kind of back about the way TV used to be, Star Trek: The Next Generation, as an example. I don't even know how many episodes, a few hundred, I believe. There, people would go to Paramount and be like, I have an idea for an episode. Can I write this episode? And then they would do that episode. Like, they would say, yes, write this episode. They would have never touched the project before. They've never touched the IP before. They've never worked on it before. And then suddenly they get to write an episode because they came in with a good idea that they pitched. So really, the process now by which you've got a smaller room of writers kind of focusing through a single project this way, that's actually going to be more, I think, focused in terms of crafting these almost literary arcs And obviously Star Trek: The Next Generation is a different show because it's episodic versus serialized. I lose track of which one is which.
So episodic is like a Law and Order, and a serialized is like a Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so Next Generation was episodic, which means you don't have to have long arcs. But with a show like this, where what you spend all of that first several days to a week to a month of the room doing when you're sitting down together and beating out the season is you're establishing really, okay, here's where we're starting, here's where we're ending, here are all the places we need to be in between. You, Matt, you're writing this chunk. So this character needs to go from here to here in this chunk. That's what you're responsible for. You know where you start, you know where you end, pretty much. And then, back to the point of what Ali was saying before about how a showrunner will take things and zhuzh things and play with stuff, and somebody else might come up and for a comedy show, for instance, they might have another writer come in and do something called punch up, where they literally add jokes, they rewrite jokes. You're going to have enough sets of eyes on the page, and those eyes are all going to be guided by one person whose job it is to really have the definitive perspective on the character.
The executives are also
Gotcha.
going to read all the scripts as well. You'll have an executive that's, or more than one, that's assigned to your show, who will be reading and providing feedback as well to the showrunner about what they thought. So sometimes the showrunner will really love an episode. This happened to me a couple times. The showrunner will be like, "I love it. Let's put it up the pipeline," and the executive will kill the episode because they're like, "It's too similar to something we're working on somewhere else," or we can't afford doing that, or. And so you're at the mercy of a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really fun. Like, the collaboration is what I love. If I didn't love the collaboration, I would go do a book.
Yeah. Which even in
Which
itself
even then,
is collaborative
you've got an
process as
editor.
well.
So
True.
I
that's accurate.
go like write something. I'd write a blog. I'd go write a blog by myself if I wanted to write by myself. And I've had some really incredible writing partnerships. I've also had writing partnerships that was like pulling teeth, and it's kind of like dating, finding a good person to write with.
Right.
You have to just find the right people, and that's why showrunners will work with the same writers over and over and over again and promote them, is because if you can prove yourself in a writer's room as somebody who comes prepared, has great ideas, it's like any industry, is likable and easy to be around, and like yes ands people's ideas, you're going to work. You're going to keep working. They're going to keep calling you because they want your voice and presence in the room. Creative collaborations are like dating, a very common thing that people who represent writers who are duos that work together, which, by the way, one of the big problems in the writer's strike that they were trying to address is writing duos get paid like they're one person.
They get paid
in the
one
past.
salary.
They got paid one salary.
Yeah.
So they were hamstringing duos. But the managers will say to you, like, your first day, like, please don't break up. Because it happens. Just like a marriage, just like anything. It's creative differences happen.
Can I also jump in? One other thing I wanted to say in response to your question, Matt, about shaping an arc like that. And that's that in addition to the writing team, much of that work is going to be on the actor. The actor really is the person who's going to take all of that text and crystallize it together into a single overarching arc. And the actor's going to find stuff in the scripts that the writers didn't even need to put there. My go-to story for this sort of thing is the play A Streetcar Named Desire, which is the one, if you're familiar with Tennessee Williams at all, it's the one where the guy goes out and goes, "Stop!" That's a Streetcar. And when Tennessee Williams wrote that play, he wrote Stanley Kowalski, which is Marlon Brando's character in the movie, to basically be just like this big, dumb, brutish man who is just a big, hairy lug who's an asshole. And then Marlon Brando did that part, and he did it in a film, and he made him this very deep and complicated and handsome and moving character who is still also dark. And it completely transformed how the role was done. And Tennessee Williams had not written the character that way, but now nobody does the character the way Tennessee Williams wrote him because it was better.
Because Brando's was so iconic that it just blew everything that Tennessee Williams intended out of the water.
So the writers really they pave a road for the actor to go on, and then it's the actor's job to make it a smooth ride. And good writers will give you a good, smooth road to go on, But a deft actor, if you know what you're doing with the material, you can take a bumpy road and make it very smooth.
What I like to say is like writers construct the body, directors make it breathe, actors make it walk. If that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's fascinating because Gus, you brought up is it the showrunner who you were talking about? Is that person that kind of makes sure that all of the voice is consistent, but also other writers? What you're saying is everyone's eyes on making comments like, no, this isn't consistent, or this isn't inconsistent, or whatever. But the showrunner ultimately is making choice. However, executive producers, are they like getting a script later and being like, I hate this line, take it out? I mean, is that's happening? Okay.
Yeah. And then also it depends. I mean, you'll also sometimes have like parts of the company, like standards of practices that will come in and go, we can't show this because X. That happens too. That's happened to me a couple times on episodes that I was writing, where people will be like, especially when you write for children, they'll be like, and it's surprising to things, but they'll go, we don't do that. You can't do that because X, Y, or Z reason. We did a study, and parents hate whatever. It changes constantly.
So I mean, in that you're just kind of, I mean, so I guess, so I'm trying to like, as we talk, answer that first question, like, and like, it sounds like Lanfear then. Well, and then I guess let me add this part. I'm assuming then also editing affects everything, right? So like, you're like, you might have written this out, they might have filmed it, or whatever. It might have been like the greatest scene in the world. It might have got edited out, and so some inconsistency or just something that just feels off could just be, there was a whole thing there, and it just didn't make it in, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I guess maybe how I propose the answer to my question for myself now, from what you're telling me, which is just that when I know this is not a one-to-one always, but in a case like Lanfear, and when I say a case like Lanfear, I mean, it's not Matt seeing the show and it's like, this is an amazing character, I love it, well done, Natasha. It was just like a groundswell of people loving this character. And maybe it's a villain thing, whatever it is. But it seems like it's also a mix of all these writers kind of coming together and picking out those beats and picking good beats, right? Ones that are really sticking with characters. Then writing them in such a way that they're getting the character, and that showrunners either wrangling them or not, because everyone's just really communing on what this character is. Producers and executive producers are seeing this and really not kind of jumping in and like slashing and burning, stuff that they kind of planned maybe, and when they edit it, they're keeping some good stuff, like maybe not cutting a lot. And so what we're getting is a more kind of intended, I don't know if that's fair to say, like intended, because I don't think, I mean, I could be wrong. Again, I'm not in writers' rooms. No one's perfect, and everyone has their biases, I'm sure. It's hard to imagine in the writers' room they're like, let's make this character not great.
No
let's
one
do
ever works on projects.
Yeah.
Disappoint anyone. No one ever has been like, God, I hope this sucks. Like, or God, I hope somebody sees this and is like unhappy with how this character.
Right.
No one has ever done that ever. We are a bunch of people-pleasing, try-hard nerds who just want to make you all happy. Like that is like, we are terrified of you all. Because you're doing this thing, you're working as hard as you can, you're throwing all the spaghetti at the wall, you're finding the important beats and all of the things, you're breathing life into this thing, and it's hours and hours and hours of work. It's everything, and it's also your professional reputation, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, what if this is the last job I ever have? And then it goes out, and you're like, here's this baby that I birthed into the world. Now you get to tell me whether or not it's ugly. So it's a very vulnerable thing. I mean, I had to watch my first episode of TV like alone under a blanket in my house because it was terrifying. I was like, there's a Rugrats subreddit that like picks apart, and like they seem great. I've like just glanced at it, but they talk about every episode, and it's like, that's nerve-wracking, right? And it's this IP that they love so much, they've created a whole community around it, and it's terrifying.
So, and I'm seeing this comment. Cara Carly said the number of people who think that writers are gleefully rubbing their hands together trying to ruin everything is wild to me. But what's interesting is Also, I would say this though, and this is a shout out to the viewers like me who sometimes are like, that feels really weird, and people are like, it's fine, it's what is intended, and you're like, well, it just feels off, like that character, that's a weird beat to have chosen, and sometimes it does, like what I'm hearing here is whether or not it's someone mentioned there was a scene of cutting off Lanfear's hands that never made it. That was a production thing, right? That's what I think that was explained. Like there's a mix of like production, editing, executive producers, things that can or can't show up in a show that were written, people that changed, or the original showrunners either being able to kind of really wrangle or not, whatever the story is, multiple writers getting involved. In other words, there are reasons. And it's not just like a viewer going, oh, in other words, I don't feel obligated to enjoy every moment of a show, or every beat that was chosen by a room, or maybe they didn't intend to choose that, whatever. It's like, well, that beat was dependent on this one, or this piece got cut, and now you're getting is this piece, and so you're not getting the full kind of context, and so it's okay to be like, oh wow, Lanfear, they just really got it. For this other one, I just don't feel just don't feel the character. And maybe there's reasons, and it doesn't have to be somebody intended to ruin a character. It could just be, whatever. Something got changed, something got moved, something got whatever not included, and this was missing here. And this really helps me kind of to contextualize it, because as a viewer, I'm just like, I don't get it, right? I do want to enjoy every arc and every moment, characters that that are on the screen. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what happened here. I really would love to know. And it doesn't sound like it's one thing. It sounds like it's multiple things,
I think you touched upon something really important here, is that sometimes for those things that feel a little off, there's a reason, right? Sometimes they want you to feel like, whoa, what happened there? Or want you to pay attention to those things because they will pay off later. So sometimes it is a matter of trusting the process. Sometimes stuff happens, right? COVID, as an example, happens. And that was something that threw the entire industry for a complete loop, where, stuff that they had intended didn't end up coming to fruition because they couldn't touch each other. And actors, one of the most important things is physical touch when you're doing stuff on screen, because it conveys a lot of stuff. So that's something that hamstrung them for sure. But I mean, I think the other thing that's important to know is that what's important to Matt about the books and about the characters is different from what's important to Allie, is different than what's important to Gus. And this is the challenge of adaptation, right? Is making sure, one, that you're taking thousands and thousands of words and you're making them visual as opposed to something that you read, right? You're taking it, and it has to be something where we're looking at a character and we're understanding their internal life, right? Why Layla passed away in the show was because now whenever we look at Perrin, we understand, even though he's a very internal character, his external relationship with violence. So he just has to look at an axe and we understand that there is an issue there. You know, whether or not you agreed with that decision is one thing, but they have a very internal character, which is kind of a nightmare to write, right? They're very interesting to watch, but it's a nightmare to write because you're like, how do I, if this person is not going to be willing to provide their own exposition, how do I show, not tell what's going on with them internally? That's as an example, right? And we're seeing how that decision is paying off in how Perrin is being portrayed down the line. But those are things that have to be judgment calls, right? What's important? What needs to stay? Sometimes how we get there has to be different because we've got a bunch of different things that in the books, it happens this way, but we can't do that because we can't afford this location, or we can't do that because we have them over here and it wouldn't make sense for them to now be over here. So we have to figure out how to maybe combine those two moments into one. All that kind of stuff happens and is talked about ad nauseum. And what's funny is a lot of the time when people are like, oh, why didn't they do it this way? It's like, they probably talked about it and it got axed for this reason, or this reason. Because if you think that we're a bunch of nerds, writers are the nerdiest people on the planet. They are a bunch of freaking nerds. I loved being a writer because I'm like, no one cares what I look like. I can show up looking like absolute hell. And we just sit there and we nerd out about Rugrats as an example. And
Yeah.
you watch how these things evolve and how things have to change because of X, Y, and Z. And you start to go, wow, it's a Sisyphean task to get anything made at all. And the fact that anything gets made is a miracle. And the fact that anything is good is an even bigger miracle. And then on the topic of like Shogun,
Yeah.
a very like acclaimed show.
Yeah.
It won how many?
Like all of them.
I thought it was
Like all
great.
of them
I thought it
this
was
year.
great. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Book adaptation, right? I was watching it and I was like, this is incredible. Maybe the best TV show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I thought the book fans must be thrilled, right? Because everyone is talking about this series. Everyone's in love with it. Everyone's obsessed with it. I went into the subreddit, hated it, dragged it to hell,
Sure.
dragged it for filth, and nothing was good about it. Like
Yeah.
I was like, tears were streaming down my face. I was laughing so hard because
Yeah.
I was just like, because it is very hard to take what we have in our brains,
Yeah.
and to make all of us feel like we saw what we had in our brains.
Mhm.
I remember I watched the Harry
sure.
Potter adaptations and I was mad they didn't include the like gnome throwing scene. I was outraged that they didn't include that.
Right.
And now as an adult, I'm like, yeah, of course they didn't.
Right.
Because the scene does not really accomplish much from a plot perspective, and they only have so much time. They don't have hundreds of pages. They've got 90. So that's kind of my like rundown of like why things change and why things move. But yeah, I mean, it's so fun though. It's so fun and to see how things evolve, and it doesn't take away what you, Matt, have in your brain and your love for the books and your
Totally. Yeah.
passion for these characters. It's like they've said, it's a different turning of the wheel. It's their interpretation of this story that you love because they love it too, and that love might manifest in a different way. I was very thrilled about Mageddon personally, but I know a lot of people were like, I don't really care about Mageddon at all. I'm glad Rafe cared about Mageddon. But yeah, I wasn't expecting her to really show up.
Yeah, go ahead, Gus. Sorry, I wasn't talking.
No, I thought you were going to talk.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, I want to jump. I've made this person wait. They've waited 54 minutes.
Oh, you poor thing.
No, I know. I was like, but I just wanted to talk and not have like we were in kind of like a specific zone of a discussion. So I want to pause this really quick right there and bring them in here to the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Great Innkeeper, as always. To you, sir.
Norm, good to see you, man. Good to hear you, I guess. Sir, you called in way long ago. Now you've listened to us kind of talk shop a little bit, talk about the industry and adaptations. There's a lot going on in this show. What question or comment did you have for us, Norm?
Well, actually, it's a handful. One, I'm wondering why people with the Elaine and Elaine thing didn't obviously think that it was Steve and not, anyone else. Like that.
It was right there.
That's obvious. And to piggyback on what Lesbian Nerdy was saying about Shora doing Elida and eating that roll up, she's going to do for Elida what Amalda Stanton did for Dolores Harry Potter. I mean, this is the character that you're going to love to hate, and it's just going to be beautiful. So,
two good comments.
And then to top it all off, I'm waiting for, and I don't think this is a spoiler because it's not. It's just two things, and this is going to pique your interest, Matt. For one, when season 4 finally gets greenlit, and we all know it's going to be because we all have a positive outlook in life, you have to have an episode as to a casting party of who is going to be Cadwayne, because we all thought it was going to be Shora, but now we know she's Elida. So now we have to have this massive who is going to be Cadwayne episode and just start fan casting up the wazoo for her. So we got to do that for at least one episode.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Was there one before we let you go, Norm? I think we can do that. Is there one shot from the teaser trailer that was your favorite?
One shot.
One shot.
Well, okay.
One shot.
Here's my theory for you. is pairing.
Hold on. Only book 5.
No. This is nothing bad.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Pairing with long hair. It says pairing with long hair.
Okay.
Is that going to be the new kind of file thing to have instead of the beard being gone? Because he's not losing the beard. So is he going to do the whole long hair thing like he did in the evil Wave Black Aja thing going? Is that going to be his new look, going with the long hair?
Okay.
So
I don't know. That's interesting
look
theory.
for Marcus, I'm going to be honest.
I like the
There's a
look.
look for him. I liked it.
Me too.
Ooh, hello.
Norm, thank you very much for waiting, and hopefully enjoyed the conversation as you waited. As always, sir, awesome to hear your voice. And March 13th, man. March 13th, season 3. I can't wait.
So excited.
I know. This is going to be amazing. Thank you very much, sir, for waiting online and giving us a call. And I hope, Norm, you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening, sir.
Good hearing from you, Norm.
you guys take care.
Cheers. Norm is awesome. We hadn't heard from Norm in a while, and then a couple streams ago, he jumped back in. It was awesome to hear his voice. So it won't keep us too much longer, and you could probably have things to get about too for your evening. But when I think about kind of the discussion we're having, for example, to me, it's not like, oh, they made a new scene or something that wasn't in the books, right? Like, I think the Kyrian sequence from season 2, fantastic. Like I saw some really great stuff there that I enjoyed. It's not like a new character. It's not like characters I just didn't care about. I think it's the struggle I have is, and maybe this is just an aspect of available screen time. And maybe I just have to deal with this, which is there's 8 hours, right? And it's covering, like, Robert Jordan's books are just expansive. And that seems to be maybe where my frustration is. I see a character and I'm like, man, like there's so much could be done with this character, but there's just nothing being done. And maybe that's kind of I see a character like Lanfear and I was like, oh man, they just have done a really good job. And here's another character I love. And it's not that maybe they're not trying or whatever it is. I don't know if it's just the screen time aspect. Is 8 hours, do you think 8 hours is just unrealistic to really create dense character arcs in the way of the Wheel of Time, where you actually have so many point of views and so many interesting characters themselves? Is it too much to ask that we're going to get all these side and secondary characters that actually feel just so substantial and are interesting enough for us to really see that character in all of its glory we want to? Does that make sense? Like, is that just too much to ask as a viewer?
You are hitting on a much debated topic in Hollywood right now, is the 8-episode season, the 10-episode season, the 30-episode season. What is the appropriate and proper length for a TV show? And I think the answer is it's complicated, right? Because on the one hand, there is such thing as too much candy, right? There is such a thing as, now once upon a time, we had time for things like bottle episodes where we were focusing on side characters. We're focusing on plot lines that maybe don't fit into the overall arc of the season, but here's a just for fun and games episode that we love to have.
Worf plays baseball.
Worf plays baseball episode where you're like, sure, why not, right? Because we have the time. We have 30 episodes or however many episodes, and everyone gets an episode. Everyone gets more than one episode. We're all getting credits. It's great. We're having a good time. However, when you have a show that's 30 episodes, your budget gets stretched much thinner.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So it is, when you have a show that costs millions of dollars an episode, or what have you, it becomes much more difficult to do with in terms of making things look as polished as they do. So there is a lot of back and forth about appropriate lengths of episodes, they're whether or not, and there's been a lot of experimenting. And the honest truth is that there is just continuous discussion and consideration being made for that. Streaming changed the game quite a bit. I think in a lot of good ways, and in some ways where we're kind of missing stuff that we had before. And so there's a lot of back and forth about that right now. I think it's not impossible right? I think that you can absolutely create like a movie. Essentially, what they're making is a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
So no one's going to watch Interstellar, right? And go, oh, we didn't flesh out these characters enough. We didn't do X, Y,
Sure.
and Z. I mean, that was an incredible movie, period.
Yeah.
And that happened in a runtime that is a fraction of what we have in 8 episodes. That being said, with a book series as expansive as The Wheel of Time, stuff is going to be truncated. We have to make concessions, right? Some characters, I think, are also going to be elevated or brought to more importance because they are serving a broader story that they're telling, which means we might lose some characters that we really like, but do not really have a presence until, book 7, right? If they're not going to be super prominent in book 7, introducing them in season 1 doesn't really make a lot of sense.
To your point also about, and we're also talking about major characters, right? There's some major characters that didn't really hit the mark for you, and that's completely fair. And I think when we look at 8 episodes, 8 hours of TV for a big, chonky, hunking hulk of a book, it's a tall order, and we're gonna lose certain things, but it's always going to be deliberate. It's going to be intentional because we're focusing on something else. And it's also going to be in service of the larger story. And I think that's something that I'm really excited about with the adaptation. And I love how the books sprawl. I
Sure.
love that we go off and we spend time over here and we learn more about this culture and we spend time reading this beautiful prose about the cities and the architecture and everything else. And that's great. And that's a really wonderful part of the Wheel of Time. However, when Robert Jordan was like, I'm just going to keep going, I'm going to keep writing more, he didn't have to be brief. He didn't have to be succinct. He didn't have to get to the point. He could have fun and he could explore. So that element of it, no, I don't think we can capture that. However, what we can capture, and what I think the show almost has an advantage over the books in, is that the show knows exactly what points they need to hit in terms of what they see as the core overarching through line of the story. Robert Jordan knew point A, point Z, and probably point M. Hearing him talk about, I wrote the epilogue first. But then he let himself take his time getting there. When the show is making these adaptational choices, when we are losing certain elements of a character, or when we are not spending as much time with them, part of it I think is going to be what Allie's talking about. With that's going to matter more later. And much of it is also going to be, this does not actually, unfortunately, serve the core beating heart that we're trying to get through, trying to focus on. And so because of that, it's going to end up on the wayside. Now, I'm not saying that, Lan doesn't serve the story. He absolutely does. I think when we're talking about whether or not a certain character's story resonates with us individually, because I have characters, so I was like, it's not my favorite element.
Yeah.
It's going to come down also to sort of, when I read that character, what about their heartbeat made my heartbeat? What happened in them that resonated with me specifically? And the writers may have had different things resonate with them. Different elements of the character may be more important to elevate now. Different elements of the character may not work as well in a visual medium because we can't be in their head. And so because of that, oftentimes when we're trying to wrangle book to screen, a lot of those things that work really well for us on the page, even if we took the page and read it standing on screen and acted it out, may not feel the same and may not work the same. And so trying to capture those things, oftentimes, in my experience, when we reach, the harder we reach for, like, I got to do it exactly the way I felt, the more far away we end up landing, because it's sort of, it has to flow naturally, I guess. I'm kind of rambling off now.
So, no, it's an interesting, there's obviously the human element to that writer's room, which is like you're saying, like they're still the ones making the choices of what's going to be said, and how that person, like you said, the actor is going to take that line and kind of embody it in that moment. The director's going to have some cues. It's really going to, taking the line off the page, actually putting it into the, for example, I bet if we read just the page of the cheeser we would have a different emotional reaction
Completely.
than the visual, right? And we might completely ignore our impression of that, like, because we're just overwhelmed by like whatever, like, oh my gosh, Lanfear, what is Lanfear doing? And we're kind of like into the scene portrayal more so than each word that's being said in that moment. Whereas in the reading of it, maybe we're, very focused on like, what are the words like, and how am I translating them? So it is that aspect that kind of gets me, I guess, what I'm hearing back to that first question I had, which was, I should feel like very, what's the word? Not pleased is the wrong word. Grateful that the beating heart of the character that I understood to be Lanfear, like, resonated in a way that the writers and the director and the actor were able, to, like, we were on a similar, resonance, right? Like we all kind of said, this is the, in our heads, how we hope to portray this character. And so what I saw was kind of that beating heart that everyone shared in that moment, because you're right. Like, there are other characters where I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, the choice you've made here. I see the choice you made. It just doesn't, like, my heart is beating over here. Your heart's beating over here, if that makes sense.
That's so valid.
And we're so far away. I mean, and this doesn't involve like a character like Ingtar, where we're just like, there's no heartbeat. Ingtar doesn't like,
And there
they
were
didn't,
so many
they probably,
circumstances for that.
there probably were some edits, if you will.
yes.
Like there, of characters that maybe don't have a long, right? A character is leaving in one season there, and maybe is a secondary kind of character, and you give them a few scenes, but they just don't work, or a scene doesn't work in the end. You're like, you know what? It's okay, because it's not necessarily serving the main goal that we needed here for this scene, and it's going to be okay, even though it would be nice to have told that story. Yeah. But it's that this the main character where I can accept that, like, again, it's seeing them do it so well makes me go, is it too much to ask that my heart beats again with another? Like, I want to find a few more.
I want them to do it perfectly across the board.
I just want to give me like one more, and maybe that's asking too much, and maybe it's more like, I hope, I guess, for all of you, I hope Moghedien, right? I hope that they capture Moghedien in that same beat for those of you that are fans of that character. Because I can say, like, it's very cool. Like, I go watch Silo and Shogun and all these other adaptations. I have no attachment to them. I have whatever character they give me on the screen, that's the character I know, and I'm enjoying them. I will never ask another question. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, I just, like, these aren't my characters. Like, they're not, I don't feel that heartbeat with them. So it's whatever. It's like, this is a fun show, whatever, I watch it, and it's cool. And so, yes, I can see in that fandom, like you said, you went, Allie, and you went to Shogun, and there's just like, it almost is like, but it's almost, yes, there's going to be a certain aspect of, there's just angstiness and, when you talk about fandoms and adaptations, but, there probably are some real people who's just, the sadness is just real. Like, their heartbeat here and the heartbeat of the character is way over here. And they're so saddened by this that they can't, they're just like, and that's, and I feel like it's legit. I just realized, like, oh, it is nice to have had that moment of just kind of like communing. Like, it did. It felt like I was like, oh my gosh, across the board, we all got it. Like, good job, And I can say, like, that is a really, and you want that obviously for all your characters. I think people have found that in characters in their fantasy adaptations where they're like, well, they changed that. And they're like, but it's just like with Lanfear. People would say, well, that's not the character in the pages. Well, I disagree, right? That's the character I see in the pages. That's not, in that same way, it's like, it's not necessarily because it's word for word accurate in a scene perspective. It's they got the character out of the pages that I actually saw, and they embodied them in a way and directly, like, they brought them to life. So even in an adaptation where people are like, well, they changed that character, but I'm a huge fan of it, and that character's right dead on. I love it. So anyway, this is like a fascinating thing, because you watch this stuff and you talk about it and you dig into these like why don't they? And I know there's like a myriad of reasons of why. And so I guess maybe I can just hold on to that. And it's something I think Rafe said a long time ago. He's like, I hope for you that kind of like that one thing that you recognize as the Wheel of Time you can find and then hold on to that because he acknowledged maybe that was going to be few and far between for some people, just because the way that adaptations, as you've just described, with especially with the industry where it's at and all sorts of aspects of the production, ends up creating something that for some maybe they'll never find a piece of the Wheel of Time that they really enjoy. Anyways, sorry, sorry for going on a little tirade,
it's interesting because one of the things I find the most incredible about these books is the way Robert Jordan tackles trauma and war trauma in particular. I think it's some of his strongest stuff. And I was talking about that on a TikTok one time, and somebody commented and said, "There's no trauma in these books. They don't talk about trauma." And I was like, we have had a completely different experience of what is going on here. And there are billions of people in this world. We all have come at things with different perspectives, and we all love different things about these books. And I think what I always hope is the takeaway more than anything. One is looking for those kernels where you're like, this is what I love, and this is the thing that I love, and I see it and I recognize it, and I want to uplift those things that I enjoy because they are listening to you. They are paying attention to especially what you like, right? So if you do like something, definitely uplift those things. But also that, like, it's not that you're not cared about. Right? It's not that your experience of the show is not cared about. It's that they have to care about the experience of everyone who's watching. And if you're trying to please everybody, you're going to please nobody. That's one thing. And the second thing is that they're also trying to hold space for the fact that new fans are coming in all the time. My mom thought Layla was the Dragon Reborn. That was her experience of the pilot, and she was shaken to her core that they would kill the Dragon Reborn in the pilot. Because she was convinced, she was like, they're all focusing on these kids, but this strong woman over here seems to really have her stuff together. So, she was quite shaken by that. So, they're also trying to tell the story. And something that's interesting doing this first time reader podcast is, and doing, we'll use the Hunger Games as an example. Yeah. Right? Gus was reading the Hunger Games for the first time on our podcast, and he gets to the character of Finnick. And Finnick is introduced as a total creepazoid, right? A total creepazoid. And there is quite an about-face heel turn on Finnick later in the books. But people flooded into our comments to be like, how dare he call Finnick a creep? Like, doesn't he understand? Doesn't he know? Doesn't he this and that and this and that? And I was like, you need to let him have his journey. You need to let him discover this. Right. Yes, we can't play where this character is going, where this character is yet. We can't because it won't make sense to them. They won't latch on to them. They won't be on the journey with us. And so you need to let him have his experience. And that has happened to us a few times where I've said something critical about somebody, and people have been very upset by that because they're like, well, don't you understand where he's going? And I'm like, no, I don't. Don't tell me, please. Let me get there. Right. And so I think that's another thing that's an element too, is they are telling the story. The story is still going. Yeah. We're still getting.
And one other thing I want to mention, when we're talking, Rafe's comment, I hope you feel part of your Wheel of Time. And we're talking about kernels of characters. With the Wheel of Time having 2,000 plus named characters, most of whom have some level of story arc. We don't have kernels to pick from. We have the interstellar cornfield to pick from.
Right.
We could focus on. And, again, go back to stuff I like in the Wheel of Time. Samael is one of my favorite characters in the books. He's hilarious. I think he's the funniest Forsaken.
He is.
Far and away. I love all this teeny tiny stuff they do with his insecurity about his height, all this stuff they do with his vanity. There are all these things about Samael that I am just head over heels in love with when I read the character. They might not do any of that because it doesn't necessarily advance the story, and they might be like, that's cool, that's a cool character, and we that's something that we can acknowledge. However, us focusing on that is not going to further this factor of the story that we're focusing on telling. So we're going to do it differently. And I'll be sad if they do that, but,
And my love, Elsie Grinwell.
And really, yeah.
Dead. Potentially dead. So like I think and a child as opposed to an adult. So I think it's this thing of like it's I'm enjoying one, though I do want to validate everyone's feelings are valid. You can feel any kind of way. No
Sure.
one's here to tell you you can't feel however you feel about how they handled your favorite character. It's completely fine. Grieve how you need to grieve. If you didn't feel like it did justice to what you envisioned, that's completely fine. Know that you're still cared about by all the people that worked on the show. It doesn't mean that they wanted to make you upset specifically. But it's also kind of fun from like a person who knows what's going to happen thing where I'm like, oh, I don't really know. I kind of know where we're going, but I don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's been fun as somebody who's reading the books to be like, they think this is important. Why? Like introducing
right.
certain characters early
Sure.
where I'm like, why would they introduce them now?
Right.
They must be really important at some point. And the theories for me have been going insane based on just like what they're deciding to include. So it's been a little bit of a fun, like mental exercise too, to be like, why are they doing this now? Or why did they not include this? Or why are they pushing this back? It's kind of fun to be like, oh, what do they think is important here? So it's kind of fun in some ways too.
No,
I don't know either.
Well, that is, if you ask everybody for the last 5 years that we've been doing this, or maybe it's more than 5 years now, like just following the show, right? It's that anticipation, right? I built Theoryland because I enjoy the theorizing, the speculation. Like the Dusty Wheel is a manifestation of that and that joy, right? But this is true. What Innkeeper on Us just said, Matt. I'm glad they just got Lanfear right, basically. Yes, that's absolutely. Everyone was like asking me like season 2, like how are you gonna feel? How are you gonna feel if they don't, right? And it would have been sad. It wasn't that I wouldn't watch the show, like you said, Gus. Like it would have been like, oh man, like how do you miss on this awesome character? That's a disappointment. Like to not have had that would have been disappointing. It would have been a sad. And so I can empathize with other people that are just like, because I can see like, oh, I know that's your character, and I know what you're feeling right now, which is not great because they're not capturing it in a way that you and I maybe have talked about. That's what you wanted to see. You were expecting to see this. Yeah. They didn't pick those things, or they haven't made it into the show yet. And so there's a certain like this is like it's such an interesting aspect to the fandom. Like it's just like book readers and their things get adapted into other mediums, and how you react to seeing the thing that you have come to just love. I talked to at Dragonstone Nexus this past weekend, just ran into like a couple fans of the Wheel of Time at night, and they were just like, there's 3 of them, and it was like different variation. Like one wasn't really watching the show at all, one was watching it, and one was watching some, and they had different kind of varying like feelings about the show and about the books. And we started talking, like I kind of joked, and I was like, well, it's not like Robert Jordan did, was perfect. And he's like, no, Robert Jordan was perfect, whatever. You always get into those conversations, and I can't explain because I'm afraid of like ruining the books or whatever for people here. But like I brought up one plot line, and I was like, what about this? And he's like, that's a great whatever. I'm like, no one calls that a great plot line. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like, no, like, again, even as book readers, there were things where you're like, I'm so sad by this plot arc or this character arc, like as you're reading, but because you ended up liking the whole, right? Because you ended up just at the end, you were like, that was a great story. It has had its issues. And that's what I can see with adaptations, right? Are you watching the everything? Are you watching it to the end and then saying, is it like, okay, like I enjoyed this, or maybe you get to the end and you didn't in the end enjoy it. But it's sad to me that too many have stopped like after season 1. I'm like, oh man, I tell everybody, I was like, you stopped at season 1. I understand. I accept that's the choice you made. I totally understand. It was really difficult for you for this reason. You stopped after episode 3. I understand. Season 2, so much better. You know what I mean? Like just like jump into season 2. I promise it is better. And you might actually like that season, you might not like book X, but you like book Y in the Wheel of Time series. I know so many people in the Wheel of Time series that stopped at book 6 or whatever. After that, they're like, no thanks, I can't do this.
The first time I was reading through it, I stalled out halfway through book 6, and for 2 years, I just put it down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it, right? So it does seem a continuation of our experience. It's just a fascinating continuation because the authoring side is not, yes, editors and you have agents and you do, yes, I get that there's aspects to where a story isn't maybe word for word and changes, and you get, beta readers, whatever. You have like people giving you ideas and you're changing things. The actual creation of television is so much more elaborate in the ways that we just don't understand. You know what I mean? Like,
crazy.
You're just like, there's a staff writer, and then there's like this, and people are, they have their own agents, and they get these levels, and then there's they bring in, can't you call it like this fluffing up the comedy? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
punch up the comedy.
It's a very different thing in this.
Punch up the comedy. And like, and you're like, wow, okay, so they just get somebody else to just throw some jokes in. Okay, that's interesting. And you have the showrunner, you have executives that might put their hand on it, you have the production, and it actually happens. Like, it's so elaborate in a way that honestly, I do, even after this conversation, cherish even more. Like, I actually loved an arc of a character I loved, and getting that is like special. Like when I think of television today, you know what I mean? Like being a fan of an adapted medium, loving the instantiation, the embodiment of a character over the course of so far a season, hopefully 2, is actually something I should consider to be a pretty special experience as a fan of the medium, as far as you're kind of detailing some of these things about the industry. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, with adaptations especially, going into one with the baggage of having read the thing already is almost a curse in my experience.
Sure.
Because of what we're talking about. Because it's so hard. It's so hard to look at it and go like, that's not. So in a way, I am really happy for the people who haven't read the books, who are just going through it like, wow, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Right.
I like this guy. He cried. That was fun.
Well, with me versus you going to see Wicked for the first time.
Yeah.
I loved Wicked since I was 12 years old. I watched that when I was 12, and like that became my whole personality for years.
Yeah.
Was like
I had never seen
he had never seen it in his life.
No, I know.
Really? Never.
The entire movie. Because I love it so much, and I was just like, I just need them to get this right. I need, and they did it complete. Like Cynthia and Ariana did it completely differently, and I was like, this is the one media, like the one piece of media where like I could definitely become a book cloak if they get this wrong. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, this is the thing where I'm like, this is my whole heart and soul. This is something I discovered. And I was actually very empathetic at the time of watching it to the folks who do get so upset. I was like, oh, it's not that I'm not equally passionate about the Wheel of Time, but I discovered it as an adult. I'm still reading through it. It's a different relationship that I have to it than this thing where I was like, I am printed on, and like this was with me through like all the struggles of being young, right? And so it was like every scene I was like sitting there stressed out that they weren't going to get it right, and Gus is sitting there just like
Ariana Grande's funny. It's great.
By the way, we are so like Allie, our family is just like huge. Like we've been to Wicked so many times.
Huge.
Like,
It's
by the
so
way,
good.
I've seen the movie twice, and I literally still am like, the songs are in my head, and it's been like a week and a half, and all I hear is loathing. It's just all I hear is like in my head, it's like loathing, and it's just like all I can just hear it like.
I've been like jokingly learning the low dance. Like I've been learning. Like, I was like, no, I have to learn it. It was really stressful.
I was feeling that. Yeah, I was feeling that too. I was like, I kept on looking at my daughters, I'd be like, after every sequence, I'd be like, I'd look over there. So for those of you, I won't spoil it, but I thought they did a great job. So
they did, but I was so stressed. And every time they introduced something new, I was like, this is new. I'm uncomfortable. Like, I'm uncomfortable because I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I know even like the little like ways they would say the line, like the Christian Chenoweth and Idina Menzel, the way they did those characters were so iconic in my head.
Yeah.
And Cynthia and Ariana are different people bringing their own different take to it. And I was so stressed. And they did
Yeah.
a great job.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
different. It was different than I maybe would have imagined. They did a great job and I loved it ultimately. But I did have to watch it a second time before I was able to remove my like, this isn't how they did it in the show brain from it. It took like I needed, so my advice is that based on this, watch it one time, feel your feelings. Watch it a second time and just like remove that part of your brain and go like, I'm just gonna watch an episode of TV and see how that changes. Because it definitely makes for me the experience so much more enjoyable to like have my feelings run and then have my I'm just going to enjoy this run. Yeah.
I mean, and I like those experiences because they can help you understand how, you know, again, I have a lot of friends in the Wheel of Time, and some of them just won't. They don't even want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it at all. Like it's almost like they're just either it's just I don't care, you know, like they went apathetic to it, you know, or they went just like it just, you know, infuriates them. But it's just interesting, like I can be empathetic when I go and like see other, you know, like adaptations and I go, oh, I can hear other people be like, oh my gosh, they changed this. And I'm thinking, well, I don't really know this. I don't really care, you know,
I'm having a great time.
but I get it, right? I get it.
Yeah.
Again, like seeing a character in the Wheel of Time where I go like, ooh, like if that had happened with Lanfear, I think that would have been so tough, like, in that way. So I can appreciate the difficulty and just from what I mean, we didn't talk, you know, we're talking for an hour about this particular topic and like I'm sure you talk about this all the time. You can go talk. I mean, it's a career, right? It's like 10 years, 10, 20, 30 years you could spend in this industry and know every ins and outs of just the difficulty of just bringing to the screen the thing that you wanted to bring to the screen in the first place. And so I can appreciate that. It just, man, like I see some characters and I go back and watch season 2 or season 1 and I'm just like, we are so far apart, writers room, and you and I, we're just we're there. But I can
very different heartbeats.
But I can accept that. Like that is just like, look, like we all, like you said, art. We appreciate art differently, and we consume it. We understand it differently. And so the idea that the writers room, with everything involved in the editing and all those things, that they're just like the beat of that heart is just far away from me, and I just can't. I can barely hear it. You know, I can barely kind of see life in the character in the way. I think it's okay, right? It's not like ideal, but it's just part of what we experience as fans of things we love and the nature of the business. So, I just thank you both for like coming and talking about this.
Of course.
You know,
and I'm excited to see how our feelings, because I feel like our feelings even from season 1 to season 2, right, have evolved so much, right, in seeing what they're doing with some of these things that they're setting up. And it's been exciting to see this like ongoing relationship with the show and how, you know, our minds are getting changed about certain choices. And like, so I'm looking forward to seeing what season 3 brings in terms of new things we're upset about. And because let's be real, we're a fandom who's very passionate, but also things that we're really excited about. And I think, you know, it's exciting to engage in these conversations and go, this is why I think, based on my experience, these decisions got made. This is where I think they're probably going with it or what their intentions are, because I have some educated guesses to give. But it's also exciting to go, okay, let's see how these things evolve, because something that may not be hitting right now may hit soon. Some things may never hit, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. But I think, you know, it's cool. It's been so cool to see like Wheel of Time theory land take off in a way where I'm like, oh, I didn't get to participate in any of that. I didn't get to participate in any of that, and now I get to, and this is really fun and cool to just see this fandom I mean, what a gift that this fandom is as passionate as it is. Like sometimes, of course, we, you know, get all these paroxysms, but like But what a gift that they're so passionate and like supportive and so excited about these actors and this world. It's just so cool.
And I'll take a second, really quick, just
go for it.
If people who are watching have more specific questions about why specific adaptational choices may have been made or may not have been made,
yes,
to hear two people take educated stab guesses at that, we have something in the realm of 30 hours of podcasts just about the show. Our breakdown of season 1, episode 8 is something like 7 hours long.
I'm not brief, but it's very thorough.
Do you think if I listened to that I could like episode 8 from season 1, or enjoy it more?
Like it, I will say you will probably understand more about why it ended up the way it is. I like it. I understand why people don't.
I have this feeling. I feel like
when
I watch episode 8, it's kind of like watching a gymnast jump over like fire and nails and like broken glass, because that was what COVID and everything that COVID
right
is. And then they stuck the landing and they fell over a little bit. They had a stumble, and everyone sitting on the couch was like, idiots.
No, that's true. I mean, no, I do sympathize with that aspect of it. No, I just, well, I'll be honest, like, even if you look at the metaphysics in the end of book 1, it's the end of a book and you're like, okay, let's move on to book 2. I'll be honest, I read book 1 and I get to the end and I was like, okay, that's cool. Book 2, move on to book 2. Like, can we let's get to the cool stuff. Like, that was an interesting ending. Awesome. Let's get the story moving. So it's not that I feel dramatically different from the end of the show as far as the end of the book 1. It's just book 1 is not my favorite Wheel of Time book, and actually book 1 doesn't show up in my top 5 in that way. Like and I think I've just talked about it and reread the series too many times and been involved in too many discussions to that, for me, again, not for everyone else, but for me for that to be the kind of like, no. I love book 1 for what it meant to me when I was 15 and I picked it up. As almost 50, now I'm like, it was the entry drug, right? It was like the first thing that captured my heart, and so it will always have a treasured place in my heart. It is not if I had to like analytically look at all the books like in my top 5, but it will always be there from this was the thing that brought me to this moment today, right? There's so many things that came from picking up that blue book. So love it. Don't necessarily love it like that.
If you want to listen to all 8 hours, I'd love to talk to you about whether or not it has changed any of your feelings.
Okay, I will do it. I will take the challenge. I'm going to listen, and you all should go listen to these wonderful people talk about the show. And you should just listen to them just talk about the books too. But I'm assuming, are they broken out by are they separate? You just have to kind of find the show ones in all of the book ones.
They're all tagged with WoTCon Prime.
Okay.
So if you pull up your podcast catcher of choice and you search, I'm making sure it works right now. Where is Spotify? How do I computers? I work with computers for a living. And yet here we are.
But yes, I will take the challenge. I will take the 8-hour challenge and the
8-hour challenge. Yeah, I mean,
we do go on.
It was so funny because when we dropped the episode, everyone was like, "You're lunatics! Like, that's insane. What kind of weirdo drops an 8-hour podcast episode?"
That's
and
true.
I was like, "We do." And then, the comments were after that, that every second of that episode was necessary, and actually it could have been longer. Here's what you didn't cover.
They're all tagged with WoTCon Prime, or if you have seasons on your podcast catcher, it's all uploaded as season 16.
Okay, everybody grab your phone. Let's see, podcasts.
I'm so nervous that you're listening to our podcast.
Why?
It's also broken out by spoiler level. The first section, we only talk about stuff that the book readers, the show only. It's the longest part. Then we talk about wherever Allie's up to. Then she leaves, and I talk about full spoiler stuff. But it all builds on.
It all builds on itself.
I got it. So if I'm in the Apple one, I just Okay, Apple has like shows, episodes. That's right, we're doing this live, everybody. We're just looking this up.
And I break it all down by structure too. So I'm like, okay, so the inciting incident of the episode is this. This is like what the plot questions are. This is what we're So I break a lot of terms down too to be like, this is how you write an episode of TV.
Okay.
And it's on any podcast catcher.
Okay.
Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, whatever.
Ooh, What on Prime? I saw season 2, episode 1, so it's got to be close there. Okay. I'm on there. I will get that and take that. Thank you so much for being here. By the way, I'll leave you with this last one. Innkeeper on us, he makes me laugh. And he did throw a little giveaway for swag there. Trying to find his comment because it was really funny. There it is. It's this one. Quote, "It's okay. It's okay. It's not ideal. I'm glad they got Lanfear right for you." Yes. That's basically where we're at the end of this episode. That it's fine that it works this way. It's not an ideal solution. And thank goodness. Thank the light. Thank everyone in the cast and crew that got Lanfear right. So you nailed that few. And I do wish that on all of you. Let's end this raffle. Let's give there I did. Oliver's Ears won the raffle. Congratulations, Oliver's Ears. Please reach out to me. You know where to find me, Oliver's Ears. Congratulations. That's awesome. And thank you, everybody. More than 200 of you stuck around for all 2.5 hours of this discussion. You're awesome. But thank you all for who joined us. We will continue being back every Wednesday, some Sundays now. We're going to start doing some theorizing, some breaking down, and some becoming episodes. You can expect a becoming Elida. Definitely probably becoming Fail needs to be in there.
Ooh,
and
I want to be on that one.
Becoming
I am
Fail?
a fierce Fail defender.
You are? Okay. I will guarantee you a spot on becoming Fail. How about that? I know a person. So... yes, thank you so much for being here. I just sometimes, I have like questions that I need, like, I don't know what I'm talking about other than as a viewer. So I appreciate you both. Just kind of,
anytime.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime.
yeah, we're just scratching the surface. We need to do more of this, for sure. So, and thank you all out there. This was a blast. We're going to be doing these until, the show comes out and after, and can't wait for the full trailer to come out.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay.
That's gotta be that's coming up. It's coming up, everybody. Yes, it's good to be back. It felt good to do this episode. Thank you for the callers we had. And
Thank you.
as we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel and Smash to Black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is
really well.
Scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
sad.
not
I see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shada Haran analog.
it does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
This
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interesting.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And
probably, I would say, put in 70-80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no.
Okay, I did miss one quick thing. Kevin made me aware of this. This is pretty good, and I had to share it. So we're back, everybody. The real question here is, Kevalaine or Kevalaint? Kevalaine or Kevalaint? So we're gonna end this poll here at almost 300 of you voting. Shora cast as Elida, how are you feeling? Perfection is a good answer on that. We left that one up for a while. That was up for an hour. Okay, question is Kevlaine. There we go. Kevlaine or Kevlaint. That's right. Kevlane or Kevlaint, everybody.
It's the same picture.
Yeah, that's true. But you got to pick. But pretty. I mean, let's talk about this. No, I would have to say I like the nose on Kevlane here. Kevlane. That's just it's not the same. It's not the same. But the eye, you can tell though. I mean, the eyes are really. Yeah, this is hard to decide.
The inner life is the same. The heartbeat on the left and the heartbeat on the right.
Kevlane or Kevlaint?
They're different turnings of the wheel.
Yeah. This is an excellent question. Yeah, I mean, poll. Let's see, what are we at here? 45 votes. Oh, 52-48. I will leave this up a little bit longer. But this is a good question. Thank you very much for bringing this to my attention. I would have felt terrible if fans did not have a chance to vote on the Kevlaint. This is, by the way, I'm so glad we got to 80-20 on that Elaint. I feel like that felt like it was worth the time spent on that one. So I feel like
I'm in
got 20. Yeah, I mean now, right after I feel like that 20% is just gonna have to give up. Here we go. 52-48. I'm ending this poll, everybody. Ending this poll. Too bad you should have voted. 51% Kevlaint. Kevlaint has won. Congratulations, Kevlaint. You made it work. We need a morph video. Yeah, exactly. Okay, there we go. That was it. That was fun. As we sit here, good night from the Dusty Wheel.
Bye.
And smash the black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one of the biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
Sad.
not white.
I see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
it does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like
This
all
is
of a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And
Probably, I would say, put in 70-80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,